Good evening. The May 21st, 2025 meeting of the San Mateo County Board of Education will come to order. As is our practice, this meeting will be recorded. I warmly welcome our Youth Commission Liaison, Bethany Zhao, joining us at the dais. I also note that Superintendent McGee is joining us remotely this evening. There she is on the screen. The board provides remote access for members of the public and welcomes community members joining in person and remotely. The board is following the requirements of Assembly Bill AB 2449, which enables remote participation by board members only under specific circumstances. We use simultaneous interpretation in Spanish for those attending virtually through the end of public comment. Translation will continue further into the meeting if people are utilizing the channel. Thank you to our interpreters, Ana Cruz and Kimberly Larios, for joining us remotely. For meeting attendees wishing to access the Spanish translation channel on Zoom, please click on the interpretation button on the menu bar. We ask all speakers to be mindful of the Spanish interpretation and speak slowly and clearly. I ask board members to speak directly into the microphone and remind speakers wearing masks to remove their masks when speaking in order to be clearly heard by all attendees. Item 1B is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Second.
Thank you. There is a motion to approve the agenda made by Trustee Gerard and a second by Trustee Alvaro. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion passes with a vote of 7-0, and the agenda for tonight's meeting has been approved. Item 2 is public comment. Guidelines for public comment are available on the SMCOE website and in board docs, as well as on the table outside the boardroom in both English and in Spanish. If there are speakers who require Spanish translation or interpretation, our interpreters, Ms. Cruz and Ms. Larios, will interpret following each speaker's comments. At this time, members of the public may provide comment for topics not included on the approved agenda. The County Board of Education does not act upon any matter that has not been agendized, except under limited circumstances as permitted by law. It is the policy of the County Board to refer matters raised in this forum to the superintendent for investigation and/or action where appropriate. Superintendent McGee, do we have any comments submitted prior to the meeting?
Good evening. I just want to take a minute to say good evening to everyone. Welcome. We are so happy. There's so many community members in the room. We're looking forward to recognizing you. It's one of my favorite board meetings of the year, and I am sorry that I can't be there in person. Regarding public comment, President Torres, we have no cards submitted in advance of the meeting.
Thank you. Speakers are invited to make live comment and have 3 minutes to speak. The board's executive assistant, Jennifer Perna, will keep the time and advise when the speaker has 30 seconds left. Please make sure to keep within the time limits. To make a comment over Zoom, members of the public may use the raise hand feature. Instructions for using this feature are provided as an attachment in the board packet. Once the hand is raised, please wait to be acknowledged by Superintendent McGee. Superintendent McGee, are there any members of the public attending remotely who wish to make a comment at this time?
It looks like we have no hands raised online.
Thank you. Members of the public may also provide live comment in person. Superintendent McGee, are there any submitted cards?
We do have one submitted card that is from Janice Pellizzari. So we'll invite Janice to the podium tonight. Janice?
President Torres, trustees of the board. It makes me very nervous to be here in person. I'm going to talk to the board agenda, even though I'm not supposed to. I want to give a shout out to Marco, who is our student of the year. I want to thank Yoga Fly and Montero Credit Union for helping Corn Community with what we need to do for our kids. A couple things. I was in San Francisco court today with 3 of our kids. Some made better decisions than others. Some will come back to us sooner than others, but they're good kids. They did make some right decisions this time. I want to shout out Ridge because we got compost bins from Green Corner. Well, no, yeah, Green Corner. the kids put them together today that were there on site, and Rich is going to post some signs. I want to appreciate everybody for the celebration this afternoon. I wasn't able to make it there since I was in court, but I hear people appreciated it. I also wanted to bring attention to San Mateo Union High, who has our kids do slideshows and present them to see if they're ready to re-enter their programs. I'm hoping that we can do something that all districts need to do that because it helps the kids. Some of them don't want to go back, but it's important that we kind of shove them back to see if they can do it. So I'm just saying that. Okay. Lastly, I want to, oh, wait a sec. I forgot to thank Miss Cannon for the volunteer work she does at Hillcrest. I'm going to go back, and then Miss Laura, I want to give a shout out. She did all our testing to give you guys data, which I really appreciate because it takes the load off some of us. And she really did every data point in testing that you guys need. So she definitely needs some major shout outs tonight. So thank you and have a good night.
Thank you, Ms. Pellizzari, and President Torres. I have no other cards submitted.
Thank you so much. A public comment addressing a specific agenda item will be heard after the board's questions, comments, and discussion on the item. If members of the public wish to speak to a specific agenda item, then please use the raise hand feature when the item is announced, or if in person, submit a card in advance of the item. Item 3A is the May 2025 Employee of the Month. Sayla Allen, Transportation Scheduler, Business Services Division. Will Sayla please join me in the middle of the room? Thank you. Each month, the board and the superintendent recognize an employee for providing outstanding service. For the month of May 2025, we recognize Sayla Allen, Transportation Scheduler, Business Services Division. Sayla joined the county office in November 2022 as a transportation scheduler. Her colleagues appreciate that she brings good energy and kindness to every situation and is always available with a smile for any concerns or questions that may arise on a daily basis. She is a competent, warm, problem-solving team member who is always accessible, demonstrates clear and effective communication, and goes above and beyond to make sure families in the county have access to the critical programs that their children need. The county office's Early Start program at the Ann Campbell Center for Children and Families holds on-site classes for children and a caregiver 3 times per week. These classes provide crucial parent education and social emotional support for families, as well as opportunities for children to play and to learn. Before we had bus service in place, these important classes were only available to families who had reliable transportation to the Ann Campbell Center. To ensure equitable access to these classes, we needed to provide transportation to families who could not otherwise attend. Sayla was a key player in making this goal a reality. She worked with the bus drivers and planned transportation routes for families all around the county, from Daly City to East Palo Alto. She never allowed obstacles to get in her way. For example, when the team ran into an issue with a certain bus route not arriving to class on time, she offered to ride along to determine to improve the route. Due to her impressive efforts launching and coordinating bus services, families who needed transportation are now able to participate in these classes. We are proud of our County Office of Education staff and are pleased to recognize Sayla Allen for her outstanding work. Congratulations to Sayla for being named Employee of the Month for May 2025. Would you like to say a few words?
I'm nervous. I've been a bus driver since 2009. I came over to the county office a couple of years ago, and that gave me the opportunity to work on the other side of the business. However, I did not know that I was going to be working with a great group of people. Kevin has been major support to me with anything that I'm dealing with, any issue. He has an open door policy. He makes me feel comfortable to talk to him about anything. Rich, who's just became my manager recently, He is awesome. I sit right outside his desk, so he hears me all day long. Um, and he offers support, when needed. Um, there's so many other people I would like to thank. Uh, the staff at the ACC Center. Well, back in the day, we used to call it ECE. But Heather, Robin, Francesca, they are all great. We have our exchange phone numbers. So now we text sometimes instead of calling directly on the desk. But then I also have a great support system at our K-12 program, which is Ellen Paulino. She's the principal, and we text a lot. We talk like 5 or 6 times a day. But it's been great here, and I didn't know that coming here it would be like a family type environment. So I'm happy to be a part of the SMCOE team, and thank you all.
So exciting to have that in addition to today. So thank you. Item 4 is the 2025 presentation to honor our volunteers, recognition award winners, and youth commission liaison, to be followed by item 5, the reception. Deputy Superintendent Chavez and I will now begin the presentation.
Now I see why Janice had a little bit of issue with the mic. Good evening, board members, President Torres. Great to see the room full of attendees. Sure. Oh, great. Thank you. We didn't rehearse this. So welcome to the 2025 Volunteer and Recognition Award presentation. Yes. Thank you to all attendees tonight for allowing the County Board of Education and our county office team to celebrate you, our innovative and committed students, educators, and community members who contribute to our county's rich learning landscape and in the process support student learning and success. As we go through tonight's program, we will invite honorees to come forward so that we can highlight the individual or team's service or accomplishment and present the recognition certificate. So you'll come up over here and be presented with the recognition. At the completion of the presentation, we invite honorees to take advantage of the photo backdrop for pictures and then join the celebration reception. So once we get everyone through, there's a photo opportunity outside and the reception outside with treats. I think it's very good cake. We'd like to start by recognizing our volunteers. In San Mateo County, volunteers play an important role in supporting our schools and communities. Volunteers serve in classrooms and in libraries, organize events, coach teams and clubs, and serve on commissions and boards. We would like to express our gratitude to the outstanding individuals assembled here tonight who have supported the San Mateo County Office of Education and all its programs. Your contributions are invaluable and enrich the lives of our students in meaningful ways. So thank you all very, very much. I invite Board President Torres to introduce the first group of volunteers.
Thank you. We have lots of names, so I apologize if I butcher any names throughout this whole day. Feel free to correct me. So to begin, we honor our volunteers in the court and community schools programs. First up is Doris Marai. Doris, would you please come forward? Doris, along with Chris Cannon, who couldn't attend this evening, volunteers in the Judy Minogue Library at the Hillcrest School, and her generous gift of time working with students in the library ensures that students connect with engaging and relevant content and expand their learning beyond the classroom. Our students know that Ms. Marai is there for them, whether to suggest a great book, share an interesting lesson on current topics, or simply just to listen. Thank you so much for your support of our students and our library. You are a valuable member of our program. Thank you so much. Up next is Joanna Jeffs, another special volunteer with the Court and Community Programs. Would Joanna please come forward? For the last several years, Joanna has served as the liaison with the 17th District PTA and the primary contact for the Court and Community Schools. She is a tireless supporter of our students, staff, and program. She organizes and provides delicious food and elevates recognition that our staff members greatly appreciate. We are thankful for Joanna's support and willingness to generously volunteer her time and feed our staff. Thank you. We are happy to recognize one additional volunteer with the Court and Community Schools, Angel Ramirez. Angel, would you please come forward? So over the course of several months, Angel provided financial literacy lessons to our students at Hillcrest. His presentations designed to include real-life applications, incorporate interactive learning, and impact future-ready skills, equipped our students with practical tools to manage their finances effectively, make informed choices, and set a strong foundation for their futures. He brought financial literacy to life, helping every student gain the confidence and skills to achieve financial independence. Angel, please know that your expertise and your commitment to shaping a financially empowered generation are greatly appreciated. Thank you. In our next category of volunteers, we honor Mike McCord and Desiree Thayer, volunteers with the Youth Climate Ambassadors Program. Unfortunately, Mike and Desiree were unable to join this evening, but we would still like to share about their amazing work. So the Youth Climate Ambassadors Program started in Burlingame under the direction of Mike and Desiree, and over the years has grown into a strong collaborative partnership that includes the county office and other organizations. Both Mike and Desiree tirelessly contribute their time mentoring during bi-monthly workshops and provide students with coaching on their community impact projects. Thank you to Mike and Desiree for the inspiring work that they do and for leading the next generation of youth to become not only stewards of our planet, but leaders in the environmental movement. Our next group of volunteers are the 2025 Environmental Youth Leadership Summit volunteers. These students spent a great deal of time planning and preparing for the Environmental Youth Leadership Summit. They attended weekly meetings for 2 months prior to the event, and many of them ran breakout sessions on everything from a nature walk to a session on eco-solutions that involved different stations. Some of the students facilitated breakout rooms and spoke during the opening keynote, and according to the coordinator, Hilborn, these students literally ran the program and did a phenomenal job. So we first invite up Cherish Lodico, a 12th grader at Westmore High School in the Jefferson Union High School District. Up next is Trevor Cho, a 9th grader from the Nueva School. Congratulations. Our next volunteer is Billy Bogota, a 8th grader from the Westboro Middle School in the South San Francisco Unified School District. Thank you. Would Maya Garcia Rivera, a 7th grader from Taylor Middle School in the Millbrae Elementary School District, please come up? Congratulations. We welcome Cora Rosen, an 11th grader at Crystal Springs Upland School. And lastly, we are proud to honor Isabel Ling, an 11th grader from the Carl Mount High School in the Sequoia Union High School District. Congratulations. So not in attendance this evening, but also honored as the 2025 Environmental Youth Leadership Summit volunteers are Kelly Zhang and Iris Yan. So applause for them. So our final group of honorary volunteers in the 2025 San Mateo County Tobacco Education Coalition Youth Advisory Group leaders, whose names are listed on the screen, hopefully. The County Office of Education's Tobacco Use Health Tobacco Education Coalition co-hosts this group to ensure youth voices remain at the forefront of tobacco prevention education. The Youth Advisory Group is composed of student leaders from 8th grade to 12th grade across San Mateo County. There are the names. So these students volunteer their time to raise awareness about tobacco use, encourage help-seeking behaviors, and educate the broader community, all through a lens of social equity. Each year, they lead several major initiatives, including the countywide Youth Public Service Announcement Contest, the Photo Voice Project, and a community tobacco vaping waste cleanup. We are thrilled to honor Kira McLintock as the Youth Advisory Group Leader of the Year. Would Kira please come and join us in the front of the room? So Kiara is a graduating senior at Aragon High School, and she joined the Youth Advisory Group as an 8th grader in 2020, its inaugural year, and now serves as both statewide and national youth councils focused on tobacco use prevention. So in addition to her leadership, Kiara is the recipient of the Aragon High School Gold Award for launching a summer outreach campaign that includes a series of emails, social media posts, and presentations. Her campaign is focused on educating teens about the health effects of tobacco use and helping them recognize the advertising strategies tobacco companies use to target our youth. So this work is especially timely as teens are more frequently exposed to these ads during the summer months when school-based support systems are less available. Kara, we are so proud of what you've accomplished with the Youth Advisory Group, and congratulations on being the Leader of the Year. So let's give all of our amazing volunteers one more round of applause. And to give you a break from hearing my voice, I will now turn the presentation back to Deputy Superintendent Chavez to introduce our recognition award winners.
Thank you very much, Board President Torres. Our first category of recognition awards for our 2025 California Distinguished Schools honorees. This year, 11 elementary schools from 7 school districts in San Mateo County received a 2025 California Distinguished Schools Awards from the California Department of Education for their progress in supporting student success. The California Distinguished School Awards program honors schools that performed well on several state indicators displayed on the 2025 California School Dashboard, such as suspension rate, chronic absenteeism, and student performance in English, language arts, and mathematics. The state alternates between honoring elementary schools and middle school and high schools, with awardees holding their title for 2 years. Up first, drum roll. I like that. Thank you. Up first is Central Elementary from the Belmont Redwood Shores School District with Superintendent Dan DeGara, Principal Chuck Donovan, and Trustee Ann Dan. Please come up to accept the school's award. Excellent. Receiving a well-deserved honor is Brisbane Elementary from the Brisbane Elementary School District. We are happy to invite Principal Sean Higgins and teacher Jennifer Simer Abaya to accept the school's award. Our next honoree is North Star Academy from the Redwood City Elementary School District. Would Assistant Superintendent Ana Herrera and Principal Aaron Kikos please come up to accept the school's award? From the Hillsborough City School District, we have 3 awardee schools: North Hillsborough, West Hillsborough, and South Hillsborough. Would the team of Superintendent Anna D'Arcy, North Hillsborough Principal Heidi Beams, West Hillsborough Principal Heather Mata, and Trustee Don Giddis please come up to accept your award? Lastly, in this category, we are proud to honor Meadows Elementary School from the Millbrae Elementary School District. I believe we have quite the group in attendance tonight to celebrate. Would Superintendent Lisa Hickey, Principal Julie Constantino, Trustee Claire Beltrami, Trustee Lynn Ferrario, Director of Educational Service, Catherine Waisliff, Teacher Jennifer Colombo, Teacher Claudia Peraldi, and Teacher Christy Martin, please come up to accept your award. There's a camera over there. Pose, yes. Let's give them another round of applause. Also receiving recognition, but not in attendance this evening, are Hoover Elementary and Roosevelt Elementary from the Burlingame School District, and Britton Acres Elementary and Mariposa Upper Elementary from San Carlos School District. So let's give them a round of applause. Our next recognition awards are for the county's 2025 California Green Ribbon School Award winners. These awards recognize public and private schools, districts, and county offices that demonstrate progress in 3 pillars of sustainability: reducing environmental impact, improving the health and wellness of school and school community, and providing effective environmental education. Applicants are assessed on their ability to demonstrate progress in these 3 areas and are recognized at either the bronze, silver, gold, or green achiever level. First up, I know these people, is our own San Mateo County Office of Education team, which earned a Green Achiever, the highest level of the California Green Ribbons Award Program. would Julie Hilborn, Coordinator, Environmental Literacy and Sustainability, Ron Soper, Director, Sustainability, Construction and Facilities, Rich Maldonado, Manager, Facility Services, and Kevin Boltema, Deputy Superintendent, Business Services, please come up to accept this award. I think we took Kevin from a very important duty of cutting cake. The county, just wait a second. The County Office of Education received this prestigious honor for its groundbreaking leadership in environmental literacy and sustainability and climate-ready practices. The county office has prioritized sustainability for decades, and in 2017, deepened its commitment to environmental education by launching an environmental literacy and sustainability initiative that supports San Mateo County schools and integrates climate-ready practices across a school's campus, curriculum, community, and culture. Through environmental education programs like the Environmental Solutionary Teacher Fellowship and the Youth Climate Ambassadors, the county office empowers educators and students to address climate change and sustainability changes and continues to drive transformation across districts throughout California, fostering sustainable and equitable learning environments. Congratulations to our team. We are so proud of you. The entire office celebrates you today. The second 2025 Green Ribbon Award winner is the San Mateo Union High School District with a Bronze Recognition Award. We invite up Superintendent Randall Booker and Dave Emanuel, Chair, San Mateo Union High School District Sustainability Committee, to accept the district's award. Okay. The San Mateo Union High School District was honored with a 2025 California Green Ribbon Award, bronze level, for implementing a comprehensive sustainability strategy across its campuses, including investment in renewable energy, water conservation, standardized waste management, fleet electrification, and commuting incentives to reduce environmental impacts and operational costs. The district prioritizes student and staff wellness through coordinated health initiatives, standardized safety practices, and integrated school garden programs that enhance learning and wait for it, yes, dun dun dun, and well-being. Additionally, they actively incorporate environmental and sustainability education into their curriculum, with teachers engaging in professional development programs such as the Environmental Solutionary Teacher Fellowship and training in the district sustainability dashboard. Congratulations, San Mateo Union High School District. We are incredibly excited to, I lost my spot, sorry. We're incredibly excited of our next honoree, the 2025 Outdoor Education Cabin Leader of the Year. The San Mateo County Outdoor Education has a long history and tradition of high school students volunteering as cabin leaders for the Residential Outdoor Education Program. The program depends on these dedicated students, and this year's Cabin Leader of the Year is Ashling Edwards from Terra Nova High School, who was unable to join us in person tonight, but we're wondering, is she online? She is, so we're get to move her over and ready, let's applause. Thank you for joining us, Aisling Edwards. This year, and she gets to hear the acknowledgement. This year, Aisling volunteered at Outdoor Education 5 times, with each visit marked by passion, dedication, and deep commitment to both students and the natural world. Each week, as cabin leader, she fully embraced the role, returning each time with greater intention, leadership, and care. Aisling prioritized student safety, foster inclusive and emotionally safe spaces, and encourage personal growth among students. As she stepped into greater leadership, she confidently led activities and lessons, took initiative, and consistently brought a positive, supportive presence to the program. From environmental education to hands-on art projects, Aisling made learning impactful and memorable. Her contributions have left a lasting impression, and we are deeply grateful for her time, energy, and heart. Aisling, Director Collins, and her team are looking forward to your application as a naturalist in a few years. We think you're ready. Congratulations, Aisling. Now, for the second year, we are sincerely privileged to present the San Mateo County Office of Education Student Program Award. For 2025, we recognize Marco, who goes by Marcus Hernandez, a senior at Gateway Community School. Marcus, thanks for joining us up here. Any members of Marcus that want to join us? ¿Algún miembro de la familia de Marcus que quiera acompañarnos? Puede pasar, por favor. Ah, su hermano? No. Ok. Perfecto. Marcus, you are a remarkable young man with deep commitment to growth and learning. As a senior, Marcus consistently demonstrates what it means to persevere. One staff member described him as committed to his personal and academic evolution, a quality that has been evident in both his actions and attitude. He regularly shows up and dedicates himself to his graduation goal, which he proudly achieved this year. Marcus is both respected for his determination and admired for his character. Staff noted his inherent integrity and maturity as traits that contribute to the elevation of our school climate on a regular basis. Whether it's completing assignments, treating others with respect, or being willing to help out, Marcus brings positivity and purpose to our school. We are honored to recognize Marcus Hernandez with the 2025 Student Programs Award, a celebration of his journey, his growth, and his exceptionally bright future ahead. We are so proud of you, Marcus. Congratulations. Felicidades. Okay. It's almost time to switch it over to another voice. Our next group of celebrants are the 2025 Art Takes a Bus Ride winners. This year's theme, Connecting the Community with Samtrans, invited students to reflect on how public transportation brings people together. A distinguished panel of local arts leaders carefully reviewed over 100 submissions, ultimately selecting 12 powerful pieces that will travel across San Mateo County in 2 Samtrans buses for the next year. The official bus reveal took place on May 7th at a special celebration hosted by Samtrans, where community members, students, and even Supervisor Jackie Spear came together to honor the artists. In addition to winning the entries, we are thrilled to feature the runner-ups submissions in a pop-up and pop-up entries. In a pop-up exhibit in our downstairs hallway in our building. So if you walk out this hallway, you'll see the exhibit at the end of the hallway. We encourage everyone to stop by and check it out. It is with great pride that we now recognize the talented students whose artwork was selected for this year's traveling gallery, the buses. Up first, Ming Nguyen, a fourth grader at College Park Elementary School in the San Mateo Foster City School District. Good job. I love it. So cute. Next, Audrey Shen, a sixth grader at Terra Linda Middle School in the San Carlos School District. Would Bowen Wang, a sixth grader at Central Middle School in the San Carlos School District, please come up? He has a determined handshake. We are proud to honor Mi Nguyen, an eighth grader at Bowditch Middle School in the San Mateo Foster City School District. Also a determined handshake. And not in attendance this evening, but also honored as our 2025 Art Takes a Bus Ride winners are Christopher Sun, Bowen Ho, Mabel Nelkin, Melody Lloyd, Sarah Wing, Maylene DeGanis, Courtney Yao, and Charmaine Manasala. So let's give them a round of applause. Now, we're going to turn our attention to recognize the winners of the 2025 San Mateo County Tobacco Education Coalition Public Service Announcement Contest. This spring, the county office's Tobacco Use Prevention Education Program hosted the 5th annual anti-tobacco PSA competition for middle and high school students. The contest was led by the Tobacco Education Coalition's Youth Advisory Group, recognized earlier this evening. The group selected the theme Better for a Second, Worse for a Lifetime to emphasize the long-term harmful effects of tobacco use and raise awareness about healthy coping strategies for youth. More than 100 entries were submitted across 3 categories: poster, audio, and video. Each category awarded first, second, and third place honors. Those interested in viewing the winning submissions are encouraged to visit the news section of the county office's website. Notably, 6 of 9 honorees are students from the Jefferson Elementary School District, and although they could not attend this evening, they will formally be recognized at their board meeting on May 28th. First up, congratulations to Malachi Herrera, an 8th grader at Kennedy Middle School in Redwood City School District. Congratulations. Over there. Pictures. Proud teacher sit in the front to take pictures. Next is Leslie Guzman, an 8th grader at Parkside Intermediate School in the San Bruno Park School District. Next, Ana Arriaga, a 7th grader at Benjamin Franklin School in Jefferson Elementary School District. Anna, we're gonna get you the certificate, but you know what? For a pose, hold it this way. Like this. Look that way. There you go. Problem solving. Thank you, Anna. We'll definitely, we have it, it just not here, okay? Gracias. Me encanta el español. Excelente. Bilingüe. Superpoder. Okay, our last honoree in this category is Arjun Goel, a 7th grader at Hillview Middle School in the Menlo Park City School District. Congratulations. As we noted, not in attendance this evening, but also honored as winners in this category are Shania Soriano, Lily Bagonia, Maribel de la Riate, Chloe Lee, and Joyce Doe from Jefferson Elementary School District. Let's give them a round of applause. All right, that was very impressive. That was a lot of honorees, very excited. We express our sincerest gratitude to the extraordinary group of our 2025 volunteers and recognition award winners. Let's give them another round of applause. And now we turn it back to Board President Torres for one last recognition.
Okay, one more. So we have one more special honoree this evening. I am honored to say a few words about our 2024 to 2025 Youth Commission Liaison, Bethany Zhao. Bethany, would you please join me in the middle of the room? So Bethany Zhao, an Oceana High School senior and member of the San Mateo County Youth Commission, served as the Youth Commission Liaison to the San Mateo County Board of Education for the 2024 to 2025 school year, actively contributing to board discussions and policy initiatives. She led efforts on key youth issues, including teen dating violence, domestic violence, and educator housing, while advocating for equity and student civic engagement at the state level. Both the board and Superintendent McGee express our deep appreciation for your service and wish you success in your future endeavors. Can I announce where you're going for college? And she will be going to Northwestern University after graduating. Congratulations and thank you to our Youth Commission liaison, Sal. So in closing, congratulations again to all of our incredible honorees this year. It's been quite an evening. So at this time, we will adjourn for a 15-minute recess and reception to celebrate our outstanding honorees. It is now 7:55, and the board will resume the meeting at 8:10. We also invite the honorees to meet by the backdrop for photos and join in the reception. Again, there is cake. Please enjoy yourselves. Thank you so much. Good evening. We are going to resume the meeting. Before jumping into item 6, Trustee Alvaro had asked to take some time for some comments for Bethany and her award. So I'll hand it over to you, Trustee Alvaro.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I just wanted a minute before you slid out the door to just thank you and just tell you what an inspiration you are to all of us. This is a difficult time, especially for those of us who work in education or in community. It's tough. But when we meet people like you who are the young leaders who are coming up next, because some of us are just about done with that and you're coming up, and you have so much passion and so much energy and so much heart and so much brains that it really gives me hope. And so I have to thank you for that, for giving me hope. So thank you, Bethany.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate all your well wishes. And I just want to say that these past 2 years have been so amazing. I feel like not only have I learned a lot, but this group really does kind of feel like a family. So I just want to thank you all for always having been so welcoming, so kind. I really do think that all of you are some of the wisest and most amazing people that I've ever met, really. So I just want to say thank you so much. And I'll really miss you. If you guys are ever in Chicago, let me know.
Would anyone else like to add anything?
The warm jacket.
She does.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. I just wanted to say, and Bethany already knows how much respect I have for her and what she has done. And I was so excited to have a North County representative for the last 2 years. And boy, has she shone like a shining star. You make me proud, Bethany. And it has been such a pleasure knowing you. And I expect to keep on knowing you. I want those reports on how you're doing back there at Northwestern. We'll see how you get through that first winter. But thank you for being such a wonderful, bright, intelligent young lady. And quite frankly, teaching us a lot. I mean, you've really given us a lot of information and insight on things that we hadn't had before. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for those kind words and for the well wishes for the Chicago winters as well. I hope to see you all again very shortly. The Youth Commission Showcase is actually tomorrow, so fingers crossed some of you will be there. And yeah.
President Torres, we do have a member of the public who would like to say a few words online.
Oh, great.
Janice, would you like to, let me move you over here. There you go. You're able to speak.
Hi, Bethany, I didn't get to know you, but any youth that wants to be part of this educational system, I totally put my hands up and wrap my arms around you because we need people who really care about kids. And I just wanted to put that out there tonight. So thank you.
Thank you, Janice.
Thank you so much, Janice. I really appreciate that. And I know I didn't know you very well, but I remember that you would always come in to public comment and share your thoughts. And I really appreciate how much you care about, the kids in the county and your passion as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And would anyone else like to add anything? Okay. I will just say very quickly that, yeah, I'm just in awe by you every time you come and just tell us like, this is what I've done. I'm like, it's been 2 weeks. How were you able to accomplish all of that on top of school? So I'm just so excited for the journey ahead for you and everything you're going to accomplish. And my family's in Chicago and I'm there about 3 times a year. So hopefully we cross paths at some point. So thank you. For item 6A, is there a motion to approve the minutes of the May 7th, 2025 regular board meeting as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you. There's a motion to approve the minutes of the May 7th, 2025 regular board meeting made by trustee O'Neill and a second by trustee Gerard. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The motion passes with a vote of 7-0 and the minutes of the May 7th, 2025 regular board meeting have been approved. Item 7 is the consent agenda. The consent agenda is not debatable and requires a unanimous vote for passage. An item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular order of business for separate discussion and action if any member of the board, the superintendent, or the public so requests. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. There's a motion to approve the consent agenda made by trustee Gerard and a second by trustee Alvaro. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion passes with a vote of 7-0 and the consent agenda has been approved. For item 8A, Jeff Schmidt, Coordinator, District Improvement and Support, will introduce Latrice Bennett, Head of School, Oxford Day Academy, ODA, to provide the annual report from ODA. Coordinator Schmidt.
Thank you. Good evening, Superintendent McGee and County Board of Trustees. It's my honor every year to introduce Latrice Bennett, the head of school at Oxford Day Academy Charter School. I know some of the board members recently went on a tour there, so we're very excited for her to share her annual report with us this evening. Ms. Bennett.
Good evening. It's not afternoon. Good evening, Board President Torres, members of the board, Superintendent McGee, that's joining us online. It's good to see all of your faces, even if it's sometimes annually. Thank you all for coming to visit us about a month ago. Our students really enjoyed their time with you, and you seem to reciprocate that. I was just telling Board Member O'Neill that we sent you the chattiest students, so apologies for that. But hopefully you were, moved by what you saw, which is really just our mission and vision in action every day. You got to see the day-to-day, the in and out of what it takes to do the work that we do. So thank you for coming by and spending some time with us. I take it this button means it's forward, right? There are no signs. So let's, yes, okay. All right, so this is just our year in review that we do with you all annually. Our goals, our focus areas for 24-25 were around our satellite data versus our street data and the narrative that the satellite data tells versus the narrative that we tell, really with a whole student approach. Our EL attendance and truancy, continued academic interventions, and developing highly qualified teachers, which for us, which really means building within versus recruiting out. And so we do this through a means of CTC, Reach University, which is our Pathways partner school. So just a little reporting on, those focus areas for 2024. And look at the satellite data versus our street data. And our state data is still telling a very different story than what we're experiencing on our school site. Satellite data areas of focus, it's increasing the student performance in ELA and math. So that is really our most aggressive focus right now, moving into 25, 26 and onward. What the street data tells us is that the ELD newcomer truancy continues to impact our academic progress. And so we find ourselves in a very unique situation where we do not turn students away from our school. However, we have this, we've become this mecca for newcomer students, which is really beautiful. But what tends to happen is first they come in with maybe 5th grade level schooling and they're 15. And and then they stay with us for maybe a year or two, and then they find themselves having to work just due to the economic need of maybe the person that has sponsored them to come to the States, or their guardians quite literally telling them to stop school because there's no use and go find a job. And so we found that it's really starting to impact our data because they are still required to test because they're not within that 6-month window of not having to test. They usually get here around 10th grade, and so that means they are then eligible to have to take our state testing. And so while this is a challenge that we've been presented with, we are committed to not turning students away because of their status in the States. And so we've just put our heads together to figure out more intervention for those students, especially for economic need, finding them summer opportunities of employment that will both enrich their experience academically as well as provide some type of an economic need for them. And so that's really where our focus has been right now. And then our driving question for 25-26 is how can we effectively address truancy, attendance, and retention while ensuring that students are making academic progress. And so we know that these 3 categories are affecting our data. And, very transparent, we have renewal coming up. And so this is one of our main areas of focus in terms of getting that data to trend upward. And then our newcomer attendance and truancy updates. I'm trying to catch up with mine. Oh, there we go. So our 23-24 data highlighted the decrease in newcomer truancy. And then our 24-25 data showed a continued decrease in truancy with current trends down to 20%. This was in large part due to us hiring a truancy liaison that worked closely with our families that we hadn't heard from to create an academic plan that worked for those students who still needed to work, but we wanted to see them back into the classrooms. And she was able to get 15% of those truant students back into the classrooms. And so that was a really big win for us this year. 24-25 graduation rate impacted by the truancy as well. And then our dashboard data, of course, still impacted by the truancy rate. And so again, it's just, we don't wish to turn any students away. And so our plan is to figure out how to meet the economic need of all of our students as well as the academic needs of all of our students, figure out how those two can merge together, where we can be more aggressive with intervention in some areas as our content and instructional minutes allow versus summer programming, before school programming, after school programming, and just looking at all those components to figure out a formula that really works for this specific demographic of students. Just as our continued academic intervention. So we still are moving forward with our 4-tier curriculum packets, which is really nice that you all got to come out and see our model in action. A lot of the times when folks come to campus, we have to re-explain the entire instructional approach to our learning for our students, which is very different. But we are still, CCSS, NGSS aligned curriculum. We still have our ongoing response to intervention efforts for math and ELA for 9th and 10th graders. It is embedded into their schedule. We have ELD programming shift and rebuilding. And so we are looking at the data and reshifting, and we'll essentially rebuilding our ELD programming on a larger scale. And so if you take a look at our LCAP updates, you'll see that more allocations have been given over to the shifting of our ELD programming. Equitable access to curriculum and content for all learner subgroups, and extended learning opportunities. So summer learning opportunities, all of our students are mandated to be in some type of summer programming, whether that's recovery with us because they didn't have that great of a year, or enrichment programming. So a lot of them will be interning at various organizations in the community, some paid, some unpaid, and they really try to get the paid ones. And I'm like, hey, this is a different kind of currency, you guys. You just go and you intern. And a lot of them actually have acclimated to just going and interning to be able to have the experience, to be able to put on their college resumes or things of that sort. And so they are gearing up also our juniors for their year-long impact project that they have to do which is our version of community service where they have to partner with an organization and implement their impact project for a year and kind of track the data on that and then present out in their symposium at the end of the year. It's a graduation requirement, and our current seniors are actually going to be presenting at their symposium tomorrow. So they're all freaking out and texting me because, you know, they have doctor's appointments and they have this, and like, you knew about this all year, no excuses. So yeah, my phone's probably ringing as I speak. All right, so our ODA teacher pathway update, which we're really excited about. So we have a continued partnership with Reach University, and we have a few we have a few teachers that are on the track to become fully credentialed by the end of next year. So 2026, we currently now have 2 fully credentialed teachers as a result of this partnership. And then we also have a couple of social emotional learning coaches who aren't teachers, but they are liaisons between our parents and our students and our teachers, and they work really closely with our students who also are in the undergraduate program with Reach University to then become eligible for the credential. So we really are building a pipeline of highly qualified as opposed to just grabbing anyone, you know, from off the streets that may just have a credential already. It's very intentional for us to be able to grow our teachers according to our instructional model. It helps them and it helps our students really acclimate to the model and really own it. And we see wonderful results from it, which we'll get into in a little bit. But I've heard back from some of our first year students that just completed their first year in their universities. And they again just continue to tell us that our instructional model, though very unique and maybe hard to adjust to at the beginning, the first semester, it is such an easy transition into college for them because of the way that the curriculum and content is presented during their time with us. It's the exact same that they get in college. And the most thing that they find valuable was the 4 years they were able to really practice their soft skills in terms of time management, self-management, when to study, how to juggle their due dates and all of their assignments, because it's the same thing that they see happening in college. And while their peers are struggling in some of those areas, they actually, they are, you know, excelling because they've had 4 years to really figure out what their, you know, footing is in terms of their self-management, what works for them. We give them a lot of grace to find their footing over the 4 years because we know that once that matriculation into college happens, we know it's going to be pretty seamless because that was our intentions. And so it's nice to hear that our intentions are actually realizations for them once they get to college. And, you know, I even had a student tell me, like, even if the content I struggled with in college, I was resourceful enough because of what I've had to do in high school to know when to go to office hours, when to find, you know, a study center that will help me with certain content. So the content being hard didn't really matter because I knew what to do in order to still meet whatever the goal was. And so that was really nice hearing. And I was like, okay, how do I put that in, you know, data and get it back to everyone? So yeah, we are just really excited that our teachers are continuing those efforts for our students and really growing up in our pipeline, in our, you know, mission and values in terms of what we believe can happen for all students. Just some continued extracurricular offerings. We still offer our sports because we know it's a big draw in terms of bridging our community for our newcomers and our current students. Speech and debate is continuing to take off, and we really were able to delve into our Spanish debate this year, which was really nice. I've been a big advocate for our debate league in making sure that we're able to secure bilingual judges for our students that want to participate in those events in their home language because it's the most comfortable while they're developing their English. And so our debate league has actually been really responsive in making sure to secure bilingual judges for our students. And they've even now added Spanish debate as an event in our league. And so students that literally just come straight to our campus that, you know, may have been in schooling in their home countries and are looking to be just as academically challenged as they were in those places are able to join Spanish debate very quickly and acclimate into our academic culture pretty seamlessly, which is nice. And they, you know, for our future lawyers, they really love moot court. And of course, our internships that all students are mandated to hold 11th and 12th grade. So these are community partnerships and engagement that are just ongoing. With the neighboring high schools, EPA, KIPP, Tide, really just establishing a continuum of care. We're not really into we're into the numbers game because everybody has to be, but in terms of, hey, if this doesn't work for you, let's try it here. If you have a student that's not working for you, let's try it here. Making sure that whatever happens to the student, they are somewhere and they are growing wherever they are, really is our goal. And so we established partnerships with the neighboring schools, especially as it relates to post-secondary options for some of our students who do not want to go to 4 years, which is totally fine. Really looking into CTE for them and establishing those pathways as well has been really helpful to do with, partnering our neighboring schools in the community. Continuing partnerships with Kenyatta College for our dual enrollment and our concurrent enrollment. About 50% of our graduating seniors enter into college with already college credits, especially if they go to school in California. Our last valedictorian, he's now double majoring. He's at Berkeley, and it only needed a year or two of a language to be able to complete his first major because he went in with so many college credits, which was really nice because sometimes Berkeley will not let you do that because they want you to take it with them. But and so we always have this as an offering for our students, and we really encourage them to push themselves to take college courses and, do really well in them so they get the college feel, they know what to expect as they go into college. And so they feel better prepared for that as well. We have continuing partnerships with the Boys and Girls Club of the Peninsula, Silicon Valley Urban Debate League, which is our debate league, and continuing partnerships with Stanford University, Youth United for Community Action, Canopy, and Epicenter, so that it's a well-rounded programming experience for our students for whatever their desires are, whether it's art, STEM, community work. And then here's some data for our class of 2025. So 83% of our senior class is on track to graduate. 31% of our ODA graduating seniors are newcomers. So while it is something that we're trying to fix, there are some celebrations in terms of a lot of those newcomers, being able to graduate. And for the second year in a row, our valedictorian is actually a newcomer. So it's pretty awesome. 97% of ODA seniors are first generation college bound. 98% of our seniors identify as Latinx, 2% identify as Pacific Islanders. So as you can see, according to our data, we really are working to meet a specific need of students, which, we're happy to take on that challenge and make sure that we as a school site as well, we're being culturally responsive to all the needs of our students. For our post-secondary options, 83% of our graduating seniors have 2-year post-secondary options, and 78% of them apply to 4-year colleges with 100% acceptance of at least 2 of their universities. So when our students are A through G eligible, which it happens that, students are, by the time 11th and 12th graders, they're just making decisions for themselves that, they just have to live with. But for the most part, if a student is following our curriculum plan for the 4 years, they are A through G eligible, but really A through G competitive, because we know that there's one thing to be eligible, but there's another to be competitive, because the rest of California students are most likely A through G eligible. And so they have options. And what we're finding is that for them, college isn't really an option until it materializes as such. And so once they see the acceptance letter, that's when it really becomes an option for them. Because, economically, it's just a hard time for our students. A lot of them are afraid to leave their houses right now and, venture off, even as close as Southern California. And so once they receive those admissions letters and then their financial aid packets, it becomes a viable option for them. And so we are just really dedicated to, seeing this number increase and having them feel safe about their decisions that they're making, even in this current climate. And then, of course, just some of the schools that they get into, they really haven't changed too much over the year. Stanford's being really stingy with us. We have yet to get a Stanford admission, but we'll keep at it. But yeah, these are some of the schools. UCLA is not on there, but UCLA as well. Maybe I did put it on there now. And then we've got some new data, which is really exciting. This year is the first year that our first cohort of seniors that have graduated in college. And so we now have some retention data in terms of college retention and graduation. So if you look at the bottom corner there, this is the highlighted celebrations, but I'm going to jump to the retention. 77% of our 2021 cohort, they are on track to graduate from a four-year college in 2025. The student you see here who allowed me to have this picture was our valedictorian that year, and she's graduating from Berkeley tomorrow. So very excited for her and her family. We had a successful WASC mid-year or mid-cycle review that just happened in May. 15% of our newcomer truant students returned to school, which I spoke to a little bit earlier, and then 2 teacher candidates fully qualified through our homegrown pipeline is also another celebration that we've highlighted for 24-25. The other percentage of those students that graduated are either in a medical program, one joined the military, and the others are on some type of CTE trade track. So although college didn't work out for them, they are still in a program that is helping them with their career, which is great. I highlighted opportunities for 25-26. As I mentioned before, our satellite data versus our street data, our EL attendance and truancy, looking to really decrease that all the more and retain those students and really provide aggressive intervention for them as they prepare for our state testing, strengthening operational and administrative systems, and recruitment and retention. And I believe that takes me to my thank you slide. Any questions at this time?
Are there any comments or questions from the board? Trustee Benini?
Hi, thanks so much for the report. There's definitely some really nice highlights about what's going on, so that's good to hear. The truancy issue is hard, right? I was just thinking as I was listening to you, we were hearing about some more ideas around that at a conference we were at this last weekend, but it is difficult. So you were able to hire somebody to sort of help with that, and it's good to see it's on the upward trend. Are there other plans in place to address that issue?
In terms of the truancy?
Yeah.
So our truancy liaison works pretty closely with our families and is really responsible for creating a comprehensive plan for each student and family that works to get them back into the school seats. And so outside of that, you know, as I mentioned before, we are partnering with various organizations within our community to try and secure paid internship spots that are able to pay like stipend based, because a lot of our students don't have social securities in order to meet the economic need as well, because just our data is showing that really the pull away from school is the economic strain that they're facing as, you know, 15 and 16-year-olds, even though they're not the adults in the house. It is like a shared responsibility amongst the family. And so whatever my feelings are about it, it's just the reality that we've been presented with. And so the only action for it is to try to figure out a plan for that. And so, yeah, as I mentioned, partnering with local community organizations that can offer stipend-based internships so that I can like sell that to the family. Because really it's not the students that I am trying to negotiate with, it's usually the guardians or the parents. And so being able to offer this package of, hey, this is an academic plan that we can provide for your student, as well as they can go and intern here with a stipend base to help also meet that academic need. That's been our approach so far.
Great, thank you. I have a question too about, you said you're like looking into CTE pathways. And I was just curious what that looks like now, and is it, how that coordinates, or does it coordinate with your curriculum, which is so unique and independent, kind of independent based?
Sure. Yeah. So as you mentioned, our curriculum, or really our instructional approach, is really unique. Unique to the point where CTE, although may not called CTE on paper or course, code, is embedded very much so into our instructional approach. So 10th grade and 10th grade on in the summer, our students are required to find an internship program or some type of programming, usually in one of those highlighted CTE pathways that you'd find, to join in the summer, just to have that experience as well, because we are college and career prep. And so they have to find an organization that they are interested in. It's usually in the fields of health, childcare, tech, agriculture, and farming. And so they do that from 10th grade summers all the way through their senior year. And so we are working with our back office folks to figure out how to code that for our students, because they are receiving that CTE prep. It's just not necessarily officially CTE. And so we're doing that work, as well as working with Kenyatta College to try and establish some type of pathway. It's a little nuanced because we're so small. We only have 110 students. And so just some of those requirements in terms of, having the CTE qualified credentialed teacher on site and things like that can be a bit of a hang up, because we're only working with about 5 teachers, right? And so because we're small. And so just, trying to navigate all of that as well, in terms of, offering that to our students. And so, yes, it is something we're working on in various ways, but really the main thing we're working on is trying to figure out how what we're already doing in terms of career tech prep is, highlighted and actually recorded as such for our students in the course codes.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, in
Yeah.
terms of like giving them actual, like you're saying, actual credit for
Mhm.
doing some of that work, or whether it aligns with A to G or all those things.
Yeah.
That's like the next step, it sounds like, which is super, super exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, I only have one more question. In your data, and I haven't looked at any of the outside data or anything, just seeing this, I'm just curious around your population of students, if you have students with 504s or students with IEPs, and what the percentage of students is, and then like how that is, how that looks at ODA.
Yeah.
I haven't asked that question before. I was just curious.
Yes, great question. We have students with 504s. We have students with IEPs. Again, because of our instructional approach, essentially everyone has a customized learning plan. And so obviously we are mandated by the state with IEPs. However, we find that our students, they assimilate really well into our instructional approach because it is so accommodating. And so our students with, IEPs and our 504 students, they are accommodated for within our instructional model and approach, especially with our 4-tier curriculum packets. They just kind of are able to access where they fit. And so there's a lot of access points within our curriculum and content for all types of learners. And so, yes, our students with IEPs, they're unidentifiable because our instructional model is so accommodating for all students. And so that is one of our highlights in terms of recruitment that we use, because our data shows that our students with IEPs have really succeeded. They're in the 4 years just right alongside of their other peers, succeeding because of the instructional model was really able to kind of like highlight their intelligences, as well as like accommodate for whatever that area of need is for them.
Yeah, it sounds like, which makes a lot of sense. It's like inherently an inclusive model, because you're doing that. So that makes a lot of sense. I'm just curious also, just if there are other services that students with those IEPs or 504 plans might need that you are also providing in addition to. the
Yes, we
inclusive
essentially just
model?
follow whatever is in the IEP in
Mhm.
terms of contracting out for services, whether it's OT or counseling, which we provide counseling in-house as well. But thankfully over the years that they've been pretty minimal because we're a single site LEA, which means obviously we're providing all those things. But yeah, any services that's listed in the IEP, we're mandated anyway to make
Do you
sure
know,
we're.
do you know the percentage of students who are in those spaces? Those students with IEPs or 504s?
What's the percentage of our students with
Yeah, just
IEPs?
curious.
Yeah, 9%.
Nice.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Trustee Love?
Thank you. Nice to see you again.
Hey. Nice to see you.
Different position
know.
here. So 77% finishing college in 4 years is actually a very good number when we're looking at particularly the Cal State University system. So congratulations
Thank you.
on that students are able to take what they've learned and then finish up is really impressive.
Absolutely.
I had one question. So one of the purposes or two of the purposes of charter schools are to sort of be innovation labs
Mhm.
and then also to help improve public education generally.
Mhm.
And so you're doing some really innovative, interesting things. Is there a pipeline that this is getting shared with County Office of Education programs? Is it getting shared with the districts in the state? Like, are you having conversations with folks? Are people open to listening and hearing what you're doing?
That's a weighty question. Yes. And I think there's definitely room for more opportunities for that to happen and those conversations to happen. As I mentioned, we established partnerships with the partnering schools that are essentially all charter as well, so in their own little innovative labs. But we try to find, overlap and, best practices we share with each other. But our model is so unique that sometimes it frightens folks when they hear like some of the day-to-day of what we do. But yes, we've had various conversations with schools, and I know my predecessors, so folks before me, they've done a lot of that work in terms of explaining or offering this instructional model to, various schools in various states, and even various countries, especially as it relates to our tutorial method that originated from Oxford University in Oxford, England. And so I know that that work is happening on like different tiers. But for us, in terms of like locally, it really reflects with our partnerships of our neighboring schools, best practices and whatnot.
Like truancy would be one that, or you could say chronic absenteeism,
Mhm.
that our schools and other schools are dealing with that. And
Yeah.
so anyway, that was all I had to say. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Other comments or questions from the board? Bethany? Or
I just wanted to say thank you so much for presenting. It was really great to hear about the work that you do and especially all the opportunities that you provide for your students, like internships, CTE, really just everything. Sounds like amazing work.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Trustee Arias?
Thank you. I also want to say thank you for the presentation. I think the work that you're doing, it's like innovation and trying to find ways to support, and also just seeing that in the cohort of 2021, 77% is, about to the graduate. It's a great number. So that's wonderful. One question I had about the student population and demographics. I saw that the class of 2025, the seniors, you talk about 98% Latinx and 2% Pacific Islander. Is that also for your 110 population of students, the demographics?
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay.
Mhm.
So with that, I have a follow-up question. What is it like for family engagement or outreach? Do you provide like bilingual? Is there other languages? Do you provide opportunities really for, I'm thinking like empowering the parents to understand like the importance of education, although I also understand economic situations, right? But like creating that kind of a lot of the times I saw that also there's a lot of first generations, a lot of immigrants. There could be that sometimes we don't see like the long term of what it's going to look like, whether it's vocational or it's a 2-year college degree or 4-year college degree. So I just wonder about that family outreach and what is it being done in the school?
Absolutely. It's a great question. We do a lot of family outreach. And so It's really important to us that our students are empowered and understand, one, their rights as, parents in the education system. And we do a lot of work with our families, with IEP students, making sure that their parents also understand their rights and, uh, you know, what services they are allowed to ask for and all of it. That would probably frighten a lot of schools, but we really want to make sure that our parents feel empowered. We offer bi-monthly parent meetings where we really dive into what's happening in the school. We're very transparent with our students and our parents, and so they have a lot of input about what happens in the day to day. We have our committee meetings, so we have our ELAC, we have our SSC, we have our parent groups that also help with the LCAP in terms of like allocations and what they're seeing in terms of our programming and what can be improved. We do parent surveys that we get feedback from in terms of school improvement. And yeah, we just have a really open door policy with our school. And so we do get a lot of traffic of parents coming in, checking in on their students. Especially, we always encourage our parents to come and sit in on our tutorials so that they understand our instructional model. It's really important for our parents to understand our instructional model because it has to be a continuum of care. Once the student reaches home, our students like to, in their first year at least, like to say, "Oh, we don't have homework," and the parents always come in concerned, and we're like, "That's absolutely not true. Please make sure you come to the first parent meeting where we explain all of this," because most of the time they've missed it in the orientation. And so, yeah, we are very, very involved with our parents. It's one of the privileges afforded to us because we're smaller. And so really everything is community. It's very tight knit. We have seen a recent downtrend, however, in parent involvement, and it is because of the economic need that you spoke to a few sentences earlier. And so again, we're trying to find ways to still have those parents access, our school programming and school meetings and things like that, so that they feel just as involved.
And are this bilingual? Is there a need for? Okay.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And bilingual, I'm honestly, I mean, like there's little English speaking. And so really it's like interpreting for the English speakers, not really for the Spanish speakers. So at this point, yeah. Sorry.
Trustee Alvaro?
Thank you. Thanks, Latrice. It's nice to see you.
See you.
I had a question about the last, one of the last slides. You said 15% of the newcomer truant students came back. So are those students who were truant this year, not last year, and then they came back this year? Why? What brought them back?
I think our ability to adapt to their needs and try and find a plan that works for them and still meets their needs. And so a lot of the times they just needed someone to understand that they had to work and, they had to figure out a way to do that. And so we just sat down with the families and figure out a way for that to still happen and came with resources, not a pamphlet that says, go here and see what they can do for you. And so I think the interaction that we have, again, because we're so small, we're able to sit down in those meetings and say, hey, I get the right now need is for you to have money to meet rent, but you got to look at the 4-year, plan of why you brought them to our school. And so we just have those very real conversations with our parents and the students. We ask the students what they want. We ask the parents what they want and what they need and why they brought the student here. And then we offer that plan to them, and it's been working.
It's great, because 50% is not a small number.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's something you're working very hard on is newcomer truancy,
Yeah.
and it's a sticky one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice to see that something, is working, bringing them back. And I agree with Trustee Love, 77% of the 21 graduates now graduating.
Yeah.
That rocks. It's
Yeah.
amazing. So are you bringing any of them back to talk?
Say that one more time.
Are you bringing any of those back to talk to the kids who are in school now?
Absolutely, yes. So we have established a pretty strong alumni networking connection. If you've been to any of our commencement ceremonies, you're usually greeted by an alumni, and they tend to run the ceremonies. And then our prior year's valedictorian, they are responsible for actually being the master of ceremony for the commencement event. And so Our alumni network is pretty strong. Our students come back and volunteer all the time. They run our college tours most of the time. So the ones that are local, so San Francisco State, Berkeley, the local colleges, our alumni are actually the ones that lead those student tours and talk to our students about their experience. And, I always nudge them and tell them that like, I'm not crazy and there's a method to my madness, and just do the internship because it helps them in the long run. So they help me out a lot with our current students who like to complain and gripe about why I make them do what they have to do. But yeah, definitely they come back and speak with our students.
Great, because I have to imagine that they're an enormous inspiration to the younger ones who are wondering why do I have to do all this? Why is she making
Yeah.
you do all this stuff? And then you see someone who's the valedictorian
Yeah.
at Berkeley, that might be an answer to why.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Great, congratulations.
Thank you.
Other comments or questions from the board? Any from the public?
No comments from the public.
Thank you. I just want to apologize for not being able to make it to the graduation that's coming up. It hurts my heart, but I will try next year. I promise, I promise, I promise.
Appreciate that.
Thank you for all the amazing work that you do.
Thank you so much.
So there is no action to take on this item. For item 8B, Sarah Notch, Executive Director, Center for Access and Engagement Educational Services Division, will provide an update on Gateway School programs. Before I hand the floor off to her, I just want to acknowledge that Executive Director Notch had a very busy morning planning our celebration and being here. And I know we have the LCAP later, so just appreciation for you and your time and your energy and dedication.
Thank you so
Thank
much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, Board President Torres, members of the board, and Superintendent McGee. Tonight, I am bringing you a presentation at the request of our Gateway Board Subcommittee. We were able to present this a short slide deck to them in one of our meetings, and they really wanted to make sure that everybody on the board could see it. So we're doing take two, but with fewer members today. The first thing we shared was our partnership with Each Green Corner. And we have a fellow coming in weekly, and the fellow works primarily with our entrepreneurship business math teacher, Janice Palazzari, who is a great custodian of our garden. And I know a few of you were able to go home with a giant pallet of lettuce, as did I, and it was delicious. So they're doing an amazing job. But it really gives the students an opportunity to experience some of the work that we do around sustainability and tie it to business and entrepreneurship as well. So there are a couple of highlights of some of the things that they've done this year. And then we also provided an update about our pilot for managing cell phones. It's a tricky situation. It's something that many districts are struggling with. And so we are piloting right now the Yonder Pouch and trying to make our classrooms a cell-free zone. The idea is that students will turn in their phone at the beginning of the day. We are trying to make this part of our school culture in a way that we kind of build community and think about some of the principles that we're hoping to really instill in our students, that it's a culture of learning and a culture of respect for the community. In the meantime, we are also providing incentives, which are really a way to honor our students for following our school norms and our values, and to give them opportunities to work for something that is of great value to them. So there's been varying degrees of success. So as it is a pilot, so that we'll have our information ready for the board policy, we'll continue to bring you updates on that. Another goal this year was to enhance our library with materials that have diverse representation and allow our students to see characters and stories that reflect themselves in their communities. And so there have been both literary enhancements with different book titles, as well as equipment for digital media literacy as well. So that's been a wonderful addition. we heard earlier about all of the amazing things that are being done at the Hillcrest Library. So to be able to expand our Gateway Library has been a wonderful addition this year. We are wrapping up our pilots for the curriculum adoption. We piloted Savas for history and social science, TCI for history and social science, and STEM scopes for science. We are going to make sure that we pass along information so you can preview the content for the two that are going to be recommended to the board for adoption. Those are TCI and STEM scope. The features that have been very positively received by students and staff alike are the hands-on elements of the STEM Scope's science curriculum, and the fact that the history and social science curriculum in TCI is told from multiple perspectives with multiple cultures represented, and a broader view of history and social science than has been presented in the past in different adoptions. So they're excited to bring that to you, and we'll make sure that we get that information to you this week so that you can start taking a peek before we bring it to you for recommendation to adopt. We also shared information. We had Jonas Barber with us for the board subcommittee meeting. He is in a new role as the transition coordinator of transition services through a grant with OYCR, the Office of Youth and Community Restoration. OYCR's name for this position is a workforce navigator. And part of what he does is help prepare our students for a transition from our programs to wherever they're going next. And he does this through a lot of collaboration with students, families, and community partners. The OYCR just awarded another grant, the Youth Employment Initiative grant, to a local organization called Live in Peace. And so Coordinator Barber has been working with them to ensure seamless and cohesive support to the students. I've not had the opportunity to visit Live in Peace's facility yet, but I have heard that it is amazing and they're doing wonderful things in lots of areas of interest for our youth. And the staff has been phenomenal to work with. So it's nice to see the expansion of the OYCR and Workforce Navigator support. And then the final thing that we reviewed at the subcommittee meeting was our prototype updates. So through the design series, the Gateway Design Series, we developed several prototypes. So we have 3 here. I won't read them to you, but I'll give you a second to skim. I know you have it in your packets as well, but I'll go into a little bit more depth about where we are with each of the prototypes at this point in the year. The first one is expanded partnerships with community colleges. This is really focusing on CTE offering, CTE pathway offerings and dual enrollment, as well as our partnership with Project Change. So we are running several courses through Project Change right now: statistics, keys to success, and ethnic studies. And then through our Round 7 Career Technical Education Grant, we're able to expand our partnership with our community college districts even more. So we're going into a summer of planning our college expo days, having speakers come to our school and share the work that they do and the opportunities for them with our students. And then we're going to begin exploring dual enrolled work experience with our partners. Transition programming is going to be started this summer. So we have recognized the benefit that we could provide to our students if we had more robust transition planning that actually followed them after they leave us as well. So we do a great job. And Dr. Jimenez this whole morning was in at San Mateo Union High School District having transition meeting after transition meeting with our students. But we really like to expand it and make sure that as our students are coming to us, we're starting to think about what's next and help support them in that journey from the very beginning of their time with us, as well as provide supports and follow-up to make sure that the transition has been smooth. So we're going to start to work on that this summer. And then the final prototype was professional learning and collaboration. And that's really focused on our adult mindsets around the mindsets of students and looking at hands-on learning opportunities. So it was wonderful to see that the STEM Scopes curriculum was so well received. I think they've had a lot of experience through connecting with our CTE opportunities to witness tremendous growth and engagement and excitement in our students. So in addition to some of the CTE courses that we've been running, CTE 101, entrepreneurship, business and consumer math, and patient care sports medicine, we have had our 15-day master classes as well this year. And I know at the board study session, we shared some pretty exciting growth about our pass rates. Our two most challenging courses for students are typically algebra and biology. So running them through CTE has resulted in some phenomenal growth in pass rates, as well as students' own perceptions of themselves as learners and their growth mindset, collaboration, and attendance. So we're excited that in year one of our implementation, that we've been able to see so much positive growth. And with that, I will be happy to take any questions or hear comments you might have.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Okay, are there any from the public?
We have one speaker from the public, Janice. Let me give you permission to talk here. Okay, you should be good to go. Janice, did you want to unmute?
Sorry about that. I muted myself after you let me talk.
Yeah, that's okay.
Totally appreciate everything Sarah said. I love that we're doing all this for current community. I'm struggling with a lot of things about, we are successful because it's giving kids a lot of experience and stuff. I guess I need to talk to you guys offline because I love this program. I'm glad we're doing CT. I think we're very successful in it, but not as successful as I want it to be. And I have a lot of high expectations for myself, and I'm the part of CT. So I guess this is why I'm speaking. We are doing stuff. We are doing better for kids. We are developing and we're improving. I'm just struggling with how far we've gone, and I just want to put it out there because I'm working my hardest on this and I want to be as strong as the county thinks we are, but I need to say that we're doing good, but we need to do what the county is saying. And I'm sorry I'm saying anything against what the county is saying, because I really do think we're successful. But I think we need to go a lot further than we are, and the kids we work with are hard and they're getting a lot more from their education. I'm not sure if we're at the place where all the other schools are with CTE. I just have to put this out there because we are doing a good job. We have leadership that is helping us. I don't know if we're as strong as those regular high schools are, but we are doing right for our kids. And I'm not sure how to manipulate it so our kids get credit for what they are doing. Because it's way more than they would be doing in their traditional high schools. But we're not at the traditional high school thing. And I know some of our teachers think we need to be teaching to traditional high school. And our kids aren't traditional high school. I'm sorry. I will say 5 out of our 30 kids probably can do what everybody wants them to do the CS, go beyond. Our graduates are succeeding. I do have to say that. I'm just struggling with everything that's going on because we're doing the best for our kids. I'm not sure we are at where we should be. But they're way further than they are. And when we get the kids in into college especially at Hillcrest, they are striving. They are doing great. We have set them up, and that's before Jonas Barber. We've set them up he's doing a good job with what he needs to do. I don't know what I'm trying to tell you guys, but I just want you to know we are doing the best we can. And I hope we are meeting the county office's expectations of us. But no, a lot of our kids aren't college bound. As long as we make them successful, can get jobs and do well and get into trades or get into college, we're all for that. But no, that's a little bit less than what we are expected to do. But I am excited for our kids who can get that far and do what they're doing. And I guess I just need to tell you guys that because kids are striving at Gateway and everywhere else. I think people have way higher expectations of what they can do than where they are, but they are becoming successful. Kids, even when they get in trouble.
Ms. Palzari, we are at the 3-minute mark. If you want to have one last.
One last
remark.
thing,
Yes.
our kids are striving, doing better. I'm not sure if we're as high at a bar as what you guys think we are, but we are doing good and our kids are striving. Thank you.
Thank you so much. There is no action to take on this item. Thank you. For item 9A, we have superintendent comments. Superintendent McGee, do you have any comments to share?
Yes, I have a few brief comments here. Let me pull up my list here. Just want to begin by thanking Jennifer Perna especially and the rest of the team in the superintendent's office, Karen Williams, May Tran, Anton, Sarah Hopkins, and all the others who added to the 2 events for today, the end of school year event that we did out at Special Services, and then tonight's volunteer recognition event. It's a lot to do in one day, and the group pulled together like a team, but certainly led by Jennifer Perna in tonight's event, which I think went very well. So thank you, team, for that. What the board has to, look forward to for celebrations that are ahead are all of our graduations. They're just around the corner, and that's the next thing that our school teams will be working to pull off for the graduation events. Today we had a group of county office folks down in Monterey because next year the big curriculum and instruction steering committee conference, which is a statewide conference for the California County Superintendents, will be organized and implemented by the San Mateo County team. So we're already organizing around that under the leadership of Deputy Superintendent Marco Chavez. That group was down in Monterey today visiting the venue and really learning from the Fresno County Office of Education team that did the conference last year. But it's a huge amount of work, and we're excited to be taking the lead on that. So just wanted to let you know that our folks are leading there. And then finally, just a little bit of data that was shared this morning in Cabinet that for the first time really ever that anybody can remember, we will be starting next year's school year fully staffed with paraeducators, both in the court and community setting and the special education setting. And not only do we have a full complement of paraeducators hired, but we've also built a really strong team of substitutes, which is just making a huge difference for everyday quality in our instruction. When you have educators ready to teach every single day in the classroom, it makes such a difference. We attribute this to our comp and class study and the changes that we made with our bargaining unit 158. The rebenching of the salaries we think has made a huge difference and really beginning to support and improve our instructional program overall. So just wanted everybody to hear about that good news. And that concludes my comments for tonight, other than to say to Bethany, all the best to you, Bethany, at Northwestern. Really enjoyed working with you over the last 2 years, and I look forward to hearing from you as you delve into your college experience.
Thank you so much. I'd love to stay in touch.
Thank you, Superintendent McGee. For item 10A, the board will discuss local control and accountability plan, feedback from the study session, and board priorities for the 2025 San Mateo County Office of Education LCAP. Associate Superintendent Schaus and Executive Director Notch, or just Executive Director Notch, as I see. Thank you.
Good evening, Board President Torres, members of the board, and Superintendent McGee. Thank you for this opportunity to follow up from our board study session I'm checking my April 25th. We're really looking forward to hearing your comments, questions, and feedback. I'm not going to present the deck again, but you should have received the presentation along with the resource packet with board materials.
Yes. Trustee Bonini.
Oh, I didn't get the presentation, so I'm just curious. I didn't see it, I guess. Did anyone else get it? Yes, everyone got it? Okay.
So are we going to dive into comments and questions?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Comments or questions from the board? Trustee Love?
Well, so are you going to give us a summary of what came out of the survey that we completed?
Sure. Oh, absolutely. Yes. Thank you for that. We did have a couple of respondents to the survey, and some of the themes that came out, there were questions about calling out specific student groups. So the need to refer to students identified as English learners, students with IEPs, or students with disabilities, and a desire to just wrap our arms around all students and say, this is what we do for all students. That is something that's required in the LCAP. There are certain things that we have to specifically call out, but I did want to assure you that while we are required to specifically call out particular student groups, we are definitely engaging in that instruction and support for all of our students. There was another question about the cell phone policy and how that's going. So I talked about it a little bit the cell phone pilot. I talked about it a little bit in the previous presentation. We've had actually some pretty varying for sure, but we've gotten some traction, and it's giving us some good data, and it's giving us an opportunity to figure out whether or not this is the right tool for us to use so that when we do develop our board policy. But I know we have Coordinator Greg Fry here, who's been working with the staff and the students a lot, and I feel like we've made progress. So I got a nod from Coordinator Fry. So there was also a question about the importance of A through G courses in our portal, and why that is something that we're focused on when looking at our post-secondary outcome survey data. We don't have a lot of students attending four-year universities right away. There's two reasons we focused on that. There's many, but I'll give you the top two. One is that it increases the rigor of the instruction, and we want to make sure that we're providing rigorous and relevant instruction in order to meet the criteria for A through G eligibility in the UC CSU portal. It has to show increased rigor. The second is we want to make sure that in the structures that we're providing, we're not inadvertently taking options off of the table. So whether we have students now or later who may want to continue or would be eligible to continue on a CSU or UC eligibility, we want to make sure that our designs maximize opportunities for students. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, I appreciated the feedback. I appreciated the appreciation for the data that we've tried to bring to you. I think that might be what I can recall at this moment.
Thank you. Trustee Bonini?
So first I have a question because I know that when we had the study session, we didn't get through the whole presentation. So I'm still looking for the slides. I still haven't found them. So I see the link for the survey, which I had responded that I wanted to have this conversation before I did the survey because I felt like it was premature because we didn't get to discuss it. But so sorry, I'm just wondering if it's possible if you can go through the final LCAP goal. And then because I had during we just didn't have a discussion, right? So I had kept my notes, which I have here, for all of the goals, and I had some questions. So I'm just not sure how we're organizing this discussion. I guess that's what I'm asking for, is some guidance on, are we going to do that? Can we? And then can we go ask questions about each goal if people have them, if everyone else has questions? Yeah. Is that possible? The structure
Whichever
or
is
the-
easier for.
I will leave it up to what suits the board.
I don't have notes on the last goal because we didn't
Yeah.
talk about it. So I have the notes for the other ones, but maybe it makes more sense to do the fourth one.
Yeah, but
So we can
maybe just like
listen
a
and hear.
quick recap on the fourth one and
Or
then we can dive
didn't
into.
Get it. So we kept like a presentation on the fourth one and then go back through them or have discussion and people, I guess, can ask questions as they have them. Does that work? I'm not trying
So
to be
goal by goal.
difficult. Just wanted to be able to have the discussion.
Sarah, I think they
Okay.
want just goal 4.
Yeah, goal 4, and then we can dive into the questions for all the goals,
Got it. Okay.
if possible, please.
Sorry, look away if the
And
quick.
Kelsey, I just emailed you those 2 PDFs that were attached to the
Which
agenda.
email were they in? Because I didn't see.
To the county office email just now.
Yeah.
Sorry for the flipping. I think it's one. Okay, goal 4. Sorry, let me just grab my notes here, get in the right spot. Okay, so goal 4 is around enhancing and improving advisory and technical assistance that we provide both to our own school programs as well as to the districts across our county for students identified as foster youth. This particular goal was hoping to address services that would result in increased credit accrual, recovery, graduation rates, attendance rates, and post-secondary outcomes for students who have been expelled and identified as foster youth. So this is one of the additional areas that county offices are required to have in their LCAPs. You won't see this in the county-wide support in district LCAPs. So this is one of the requirements to satisfy for county LCAPs to show how are we supporting in our programs and across San Mateo. So we were able to set a countywide baseline for on-track rates of students identified as foster youth, so graduation, on track for graduation, which gives us a point of comparison for our annual review. One of the conversations that Executive Director, oh my goodness, Ben, I'm losing his last name.
Gonzalez.
Thank you. He sits right next to me. I hear him through my wall all the time. Pardon, sorry, it has been a little bit of a long day. The Executive Director Gonzalez and I have had lots of conversations about these goals in particular as they're county facing, the way that they're written. So he came into the year inheriting the goals and had some concerns about the fact that the data is usually in arrears and once a year. So if we look at graduation rates, while very important, there's a lot that our foster youth liaisons do that contribute to that, and a lot that they do more directly to contribute to the outcomes of students. So this might be an area that you'll see recommendations for changes in our actions or metrics, not in what we're trying to achieve, but in how we're focusing on it and measuring it. But you can see the current progress for on track for graduation across San Mateo County. And then that was actually the only thing we had as of this point for goal 4 because of the nature of having to wait till the end of the year to get a lot of the data. I think we still went over the next steps, correct? About how we'll bring it to you. Okay, so it was just that, and I'll leave this up. Oh, never mind. Do you have a copy of it, Trustee Benini?
Thank you.
Yes, okay, good, great. Of course.
Thank you so much. Are there comments or questions from the board? Trustee Love?
Thank you for that. And I did give feedback, and so some of my comments are in there. But I was still curious about the Yonder Pact. So I think the largest infractions that came up had to deal with cell phones. Were those related to the implementation of the pilot, or is the pilot addressing those? So we should see those numbers go down. I was just kind of curious about that.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing it up. I do remember that in your feedback. Cell phones have been a challenge for years at Gateway and, you know, across several other schools in our county. It's a difficult problem to solve because it's not something that you can forcibly remove from a student. So it really has to be something that they're invested in turning over or putting away for the right reasons. And so that's why we really are trying to approach it from a culture and climate perspective and thinking about what do we want our learning environments to look like. I do not believe that the cell phones, not turning in the cell phones themselves, were related to, led to suspensions. I mean, I know they didn't only lead to any suspensions, but I don't believe that they were then part of kind of an escalation of events that led to suspensions, but I can certainly look into that. But it's our pilot of the Yonder pouches is one way that we're trying to figure out what works in collaboration and conjunction with our culture and climate work that we're doing at the school site. When students feel like they belong and that they're part of a community, they're more likely to engage in a way that supports the community. So.
Trustee Love?
So the other question I had, and maybe it's a comment, in some of the data that you had, I think that staff reported, none was an answer to goals you have spent time focusing on and addressing. And another staff person, I think, had the quote of, "It's really sad to have such great goals and the promise of something better for our students to be negatively impacted by staff decisions." So that just like ripped my heart out of my my chest, that we potentially have staff who are not prioritizing this and not putting this work first. I don't know what to do with that, but you know, we're 100% here about kids, and I'm hoping that staff are not getting in the way of our serving them. So I guess it's more of a comment, just that little piece of data, but it was heartbreaking to see that.
Thank you. Yeah, and what we're trying to do, everything that we get is tells us something. And so that really told us that we need to dig in and help support the teachers. We know that there are a lot of people who are really going above and beyond. And so if there's something that is getting in the way of others feeling like they are equipped to implement, this is a lot of new. This is year one of a 3-year implementation. It takes time. We start small, we scale up. We're not going to be in full implementation status this year at all. So it's allowing us to take a look at the types of support we're providing and how effective those supports are, because we do truly believe that our educators are here for the kids, as I know all of you do too. And so if there's something that's not working, it gives us this little question in our minds of how can we make it work better?
Thank you. Trustee Gerard?
Yes, I really, it's not a question, but it's interesting that the cell phone, you know, has been such a topic with us. I was at a delegate assembly last week, and we were divided into different pillars, and the the pillar that I was in was totally devoted to cell phones, which I was very surprised when I got the information. And granted that most of the people in the entire group were district people, but in the small breakout group within that group that I was in, there were 4 of us that were from county boards. So it was really interesting to hear what they had to say. And they are all doing the same thing we want to do. They really want the cell phone to be away from the student during class time. And it kind of varied. And I'm not going to say that the students were all thrilled, but the more that they promoted this program with the students, they were getting them closer and closer and closer to agreeing, well, yeah, maybe it's not such a bad idea. And some of them were doing the cell phone all day, and some of them were doing the cell phone until lunch. They could have it for lunch, and then it went back in the pouch or went into an office or wherever it was they did it. But what also was very interesting in the districts were the parents were the biggest problem, not the students. And the parents were having a hissy fit because they couldn't call their kid during school. And and let them know what they were having for dinner. I mean, some of the examples just blew my mind. Why a parent would have to call their child during the day to tell them what they're having for dinner is beyond my imagination. But anyway, I just wanted you to know that this is statewide, and it's a big concern. And the thought is, it's a better thing for them not to have the cell phone in class. So it's just getting our students and clearly some parents on board with it.
Thank you.
Other comments or questions from the board? Trustee Bonini?
Thank you. So I'm just looking back at my notes from the study session. So I have a few questions. I'll try to be succinct. The first one, I think it was the introduction. So it was before you got to goal 1, and you were talking about the student surveys. And there was, so I was curious, my first question, first part of it on the surveys for the students was sort of, how are these administered? When I know you also talked about like the average length of stay for different aspects of that. So I was just, and I'm guessing this is not just Gateway, it's all Cortland community, right? So, so like how is that done? And is it, you know, student surveys are interesting because they're not perfect, but they're good. So I'm just curious, like what that looks like for the students.
Thank you. It depends on the site. So for our Hillcrest survey, it's our exit survey. And so there are, and I will extend my gratitude for the Hillcrest students filling this out because there are a lot of questions. And part of that is that we wanted to meet some of the title requirements for what we included in the survey. But really, we want to make sure that we are reflecting on their kind of holistic experience with not just the academics, but the social emotional, the transition pieces. So that is administered as to the greatest extent possible when we know that a student is getting ready to leave Hillcrest. And so that happens kind of sporadically throughout the year. The Gateway and Canyon Oaks have traditionally done spring surveys, sometimes also fall surveys. So they administered the spring survey at one time over a couple of days. And we had a lot of I'm sure teachers giving up some of the time in their classes to make sure that happened because we wanted as many responses as possible so we could make the most meaning out of it. So it really varies site to site.
Okay, thank you for that. That gives me sort of an understanding of it. And then my follow-up, like my second question on the surveys was, there were I noted 2 points, there were many, but one was high satisfaction with teachers, which was great. And then you were focused a little bit on the neutrality of the safety, responses, how students were feeling safe and things like that. And so obviously, I don't know the questions, I don't know if what that's related to, or if maybe it's broad or specific, but my question that I wrote down was, how will you, do you have plans already, or is it just in process to sort of investigate that? I think you mentioned we'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Then the great thing about the size of our program is that the students do have pretty phenomenal positive adult relationships. So the question was very broad. The question or the statement was, I feel safe when I'm at school. And they could choose agree, strongly agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree. There are a lot of ways that safety shows up in school. It could be, I feel like school is a safe place for me, or I've experienced a lot of, negative things in previous school experiences. So regardless of what's happening, I don't feel safe at school, period, because of the location. It could be peer interactions. It could be any number of things. And so our plan is to really dig into this in a trauma-informed way with the adults that have connections with students to ask more specific questions and get more information about how do you define safety? What does safety look like for you? The survey is anonymous, so we're not going to be able to follow up with individual respondents, but we have community builders and closers every day. And so having these conversations with our community will allow us to get information about how they define it and how we can help improve it.
Okay, that's super helpful. Thank you. My other question, my next one, I think, let me just see. Nope, it's still before goal 1. So my next question was, you had a statement around the special education staffing and that it wasn't sustainable as it is now, and that it would be addressed in the coming school year. And I was just wondering if you can provide more detail about what that meant, because that was just the statement. And then how does it need to be addressed, I guess? I don't know, you may not know how you are addressing it yet, but can you tell us more about that?
Absolutely. So looking at the data that we'd had from the past couple of years, we did have a 1.0 resource specialist across Hillcrest and Gateway. And then that teacher transitioned back to special services. And so we were looking at, we'd staffed it at a 1.0, but how many students were actually kind of per our caseload formula were coming through Hillcrest and Gateway. It's a little unpredictable because we don't necessarily know, but looking at what we do have, it seemed to be a much lower percentage than what actually ended up happening this year with enrollment. So we had staffed it in what we thought was an adequate percentage of a person's position, and it has not been adequate. So we are going to go increase that FTE percentage for next year so that we're able to, worst case scenario, if they don't have a large caseload, they're able to provide even more support in the classroom. So there's really not a bad outcome for that, but it's been challenging for our teacher this year. And so we want to acknowledge and alleviate that with different staffing FTEs next year.
Okay, thank you for that. Sorry, I just have like 2 more. I can, if anyone else has, my next one is about goal 2. So if anyone else wants to ask a question, I can do mine like when we get to.
Trustee Alvaro?
Thank you. I just actually, hopefully this is a very quick question. In the survey results from Gateway, the student survey results from Gateway and Canyon Oaks, realizing that one is a residential program and one is not, and you're not disaggregating it because it's anonymous. The question is, if I have a problem at school, I can always find an adult with whom to speak. 18% said no, they didn't agree at all. And I would think that would be very different in the 2 different schools. So I'm really interested in that particular answer and how that is playing out?
Thank you for that question. I think what we've learned this year is that it would be helpful to split out the survey between, because the environments, as you mentioned, are so different. We tried to make the questions, we updated it a little bit, but they're pretty much the consistent questions they've used for the past couple of years. And it's not as lengthy as the Hillcrest exit survey because we wanted to have completion rates. But I think there's some room for us to look at how we administer and how we phrase the questions or statements so that we can get more specific data. In the meantime, it's going back to that follow-up with trying to look a little bit deeper into our communities and how they're feeling about certain things that stuck out to us as well.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Trustee Bonini?
So thank you. My next question had to do with goal 2, and it was about the PBIS, right? About the implementation. And you had in prior meetings, I talked about how trying to increase the responses, I guess, the student recognition, all of that. And so it seems like that was what you reported on, right? For that goal was that it was increased. There was more student recognition and it seemed like more consistent, which is great. And my question was really around, are you seeing noticeable outcomes for students because of that? Like that's a measure of, we're recognizing students more. But my question is it resulting in something more positive happening on campus or fewer other, referrals? I mean, I don't really like that necessarily either, but is there a positive outcome for students based upon this data?
I would say yes. And we are also really focusing on pairing that recognition with behavior-specific praise so that the students know, like, that was the good stuff. Like, I loved that. Let's do more of that. Good jobs, or I'm giving you a point, or something like that, kind of start to feel hollow. And so giving feedback and behavior-specific praise allows them to reflect on their own presentations in school, identify positive and pro-social skills. And then when we pair that with instruction that's going to help them build that, I think that's when we'll take it to the next level. But again, this is a longer process. And so I'm really pleased to see we've had multiple redemption events and community building events, and the students are positively responding to that. So we're looking at expanding it next year. And then we'll be able to track different metrics with that as well.
Yeah, that's exciting. I mean, I think hopefully, that's what you see. And I know we have this big project, right, where we're helping the whole region with this.
Yes.
So obviously what would be great to see is the link to the academics, or just like generally,
Yes.
feeling better or doing better across the
Absolutely.
board, even socially. Okay, I only have one more, so thank you for your patience. One more question. You noted, I think I'm still under goal 2, and that was me. So you noted that there was an increase, or at least a consistent use of the student support forms. I'm not sure I'm not looking at the slides, I'm just looking at my notes. So that you had more data and input from the team. There, in terms of the incidents, I guess, that happened, like whether it was the damage to property, or utilizing substances, or whatever that was. And so I'm just curious, not with details, of course, but when you're getting this input, it goes to, I'm assuming, like Aries, or it goes somewhere where you're able to like share it. And then how is the response to that sort of coordinated? I'm just interested in like how you're supporting the students with that. And if it's like all hands on deck, like, we have this person who's helping with this or that. And that's sort of like the $1 million question, is like, how do you coordinate all of that and meet that specific student's needs? But you have data, but are you able to do that in real time? So that's kind of my big question around that.
Yes, I'm going to give the answer that my attorney friend always gives, which is it depends. And I actually really love that question, because then I'm like, ooh, what does it depend on? And what can we dig into? What we're finding that it depends on is the immediacy of the situation. So of course, if there's something emergent or safety related, the response is different.
And we also have different procedures across the 3 campuses. So there are care team meetings at Gateway where they're reviewing the referrals, and they have regular meetings to talk about what's happening with students and try to kind of dig into what the needs are. We have our multidisciplinary team, MDT meetings at Hillcrest, which allows us to also have coordination with BHRS and with nursing and probation. And so that's another kind of whole child approach. And then there are the staffings at Canyon Oaks for each of those students. I think what stuck out for me looking at my notes from the that particular slide, again, goes back to the efficacy of behavior-specific praise in order to result in explicit skill building, because the graph about the interventions used prior to referral were a lot of redirections, but not a lot of that kind of the deeper ends of social skills instruction or reteaching expectations. So that's where we're headed next.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you, Ava. Of course.
Other comments or questions from the board? Are there any from the public?
No questions from the public.
Oh, yes, Trustee O'Neill.
First off, this is the first time I've ever really seen the LCAP, so I'm having a very hard time kind of digesting all of it, okay? And it's in a format that probably doesn't really click as good as I've seen. But I was focusing here on the initial walkthroughs. And there's one here, it says students are focused on high quality text. And then it goes ELA, SS, science, and it says, no, 73% were not, focused on that. Then there was another slide in the initial walkthrough where it says 60% of the time, no adopted materials are not being used for the lesson. Can you for a layman like myself, can you explain because that doesn't seem like it's really good. And correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I will admit that.
No, I think you're seeing some things that we were seeing as well. I do want to reiterate what Associate Superintendent Shao said. I know it's been a while. It is not a statistically significant sample. So we cannot say through the number of walkthroughs that we have completed that this is representative kind of globally. We've gathered enough information to say like, yep, this is representative of our community. What our intention was with this initial data was to get a sampling so we know we can't address everything in the walkthrough all at once. And so we were trying to figure out, okay, what are the areas that would give us the most leverage, the like highest leverage points for starting. I think as far as, excuse me. I think as far as the adopted curriculum, my hope and expectation is that that's going to increase significantly with the new adoptions that we bring to you for approval. I also want to point out that we have, and I know you know this, but we have multi-grade level classrooms and students who aren't traditionally at the same academic level as their grade level. And so it requires a lot of crafting and support and supplemental materials. And so while yes, we want to make sure that adopted curriculum is being used more consistently and with fidelity, when we don't see it, it could be that it's supplemental materials that have been really targeted and individualized for that student's particular needs. So there is some room for that actually is the right thing to do in that moment. And so looking through the results, we're going to determine this summer kind of where we want to start. And it may also result in changing some of the walkthrough questions.
So going back to an earlier meeting in January or February, I remember asking you the question about the statistics, and your answer was because the sampling is so small, that's what skews it one way or the other. So is that kind of the same answer? And then how does our LCAPs compare to other LCAPs for similar type of schools in the state?
Let me answer the first one and then I'll answer the second one. So, yes, our population is small, and so with our like our dashboard data, that tends to skew it or not be reportable. If we get enough walkthroughs and we really want to make this part of what we're doing kind of regularly, having administrators and other support staff go through classrooms in a non-evaluative way to gather data, if we get enough of those, it will be statistically significant. So we can increase this, the reliability of this data through just kind of repeated use. As far as how does our LCAP compare with other county offices, I will share that our mid-cycle review for WASC was conducted by, I am forgetting her name, but she is kind of the director of WASC, and was so impressed with our LCAP and our data that she asked to share it with other county offices, because gathering metrics under the circumstances that we have with our numbers and enrollment and the high kind of attrition and turnover rates is a challenge for a lot of county offices. So based on what she's seen in her mid-cycle reviews and the way that she responded and wanted to share out, I think we're doing pretty well.
So would it be fair to say that because of our method of measurement and gathering, we are discovering the weaknesses and parts that need improvement in our program?
I think that's
Because of
fair.
our data gathering.
I think that's fair. I mean, we have a long way to go on gathering data. That is something that we're, it's a big shift. I think honestly, the thing that makes our LCAP the strongest is that it was aligned intentionally with our school program strategic plan, which was a long, robust process in partnership with our staff and our educators, as was the LCAP development. So I think the community knows the community the best. And so being able to have that collaborative process is what I think was a massive contributing factor to the quality of our LCAP. So everyone who participated in that process, the staff, community partners, families, students, are what made it so great.
I can say thank you. I know the survey you sent out, I actually signed into the Google Doc and you were asking questions and I was like, I can't do this.
That's okay.
I could not do the document. So
That's
I
okay.
apologize for that.
No,
you
no
know.
problem.
I just kind of, I'm swallowing all this.
I understand. It is a lot.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Trustee Bonini?
Oh, I just had a quick comment. Like as I mentioned before, I noted that I was going to do the survey after this meeting. So hopefully it's still open.
It is.
And
It is.
available.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. There is no action to take on this item. I hope you get some rest.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. For item 10B, the board will discuss and act on updates to memberships of the ad hoc subcommittees and representatives. Superintendent McGee?
Yes, well, since the board selected their committee members back in January, we have a new board member, Trustee Arias. So I think the board wanted to give Trustee Arias an opportunity to perhaps tie into one of the subcommittees for which there was room right now. I've explained to Trustee Arias that that when January comes around again, she can speak up about what interest she has as far as committees, and in the meantime can learn more about what each committee really is working on. So I think President Torres, you may have some suggestions about how to realign the some memberships to get Trustee Arias involved.
Yes, we have one subcommittee, which would be the board policy subcommittee, and then we have a representative area of the SMC SBA, which would, yes, Trustee Bonini?
Oh, I just wanted to note, as I read the agenda item, I didn't realize it was specific to Trustee Arias, which is fine. I understand that that's, that she doesn't have assignments. But I did want to note that I wanted to open, if possible, I wanted to have a discussion around the SMCSBA one because I'm relinquishing that because I'm the incoming president of SMCSBA. And I did want to note that Trustee Love is going to be, well, not per our bylaws, but is volunteered to be our communications person. And she's not a representative. She can still serve in the capacity, but I was hoping that perhaps that might be where she ties into it, but it's not essential. I just wanted to have that discussion or ask.
And Trustee Gerard is also part of the group.
Yes,
correct?
because she's the county representative, so it's just, yeah. Yes, she's not an area representative of the count, yeah. So she doesn't, yeah, Trustee Gerard really has a space on the board,
Yes.
right? Yeah. For SMCSBA, you're already a member of the board because of your
Yes,
role,
The county position.
the delegate role,
Yeah, the delegate.
which I also have. the delegate.
Do you want to open that up for discussion for the SMCSBA representative area? Trustee Love, I don't know if you want to add any comments to that?
I think that it's actually great to have more of us involved in the county's
It's a lot of.
association, trying not to use the acronyms here,
Mhm.
than fewer. So if it works for both of us or I will already be involved. So for Trustee Arias, I think that's great. Just more people is better, I think.
Yes, I would agree. And then I think with Trustee Love volunteering her time or being there, it's a little bit more like internal a bit. And then maybe having Trustee Arias, there would be a more of an external perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I think as the operational basis for the SMCSBA, I think that it's not an official like board role, you know what I mean? Because it's not an area rep and it's not a executive board and it's not a delegate. So my interest was like making sure she's officially that. Now, the other way we can do it is change our bylaws and then we can add that, but it's not in our bylaws right now.
Yeah.
But I would be happy to have, obviously, more involvement. I want, yes, more of that.
Yeah. Trustee Arias, did you want to add anything?
Well, I'm just open to any opportunity to join any committee. So whatever the decision is best, I'm available. Yes.
Thank you. Trustee O'Neill?
I'm just kind of asking a question. Is my previous stint on a school board, it was pretty much anybody could go to the monthly dinner, correct?
Of course, yeah, it's membership dinner, but then there's always a board meeting that, well, not
Okay.
always, there will be going forward again.
When, I don't recall ever getting an invitation for the dinners. I don't know, when are they held?
They're- This year, some of the dinners were canceled. And so there were other events that were held, like legislative event and then the Kent Awards, but there weren't as many dinners. There will be quarterly dinners
so you
again.
get invites.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Okay.
And then just for
Yeah,
for-
okay.
Yeah, there weren't. And then just for like reference, my hope is that we can talk about it as a board, but that the board meetings would precede those. So it would be easy to go to the board meeting and then go to the membership meeting, which would have speakers or panels or
Do
whatnot.
you know, are they going to, I went to the meeting they had on a Saturday for new board members.
That was in Jefferson
Right,
Union High
right.
School District, yeah.
But are they going to be like on Monday nights, Tuesday nights, third Monday of the month?
The
fourth-
goal is again to return them to Monday nights, and we don't have the schedule yet because I want
Oh,
to make sure
okay.
the board has
Okay.
input. But they were this past year, or the year before when we had them, they were actually here. The Superintendent McGee graciously, said that we could use this facility. Before that, they were at CSM. So I want to also, survey the board and figure out where they'll be, but they'll be consistently, hopefully at the same place. So it's easy. And then there'll be calendar invites and such.
Thank you. I just really kind of wanted it for information.
Yeah.
That's all. Thank you.
We'll make sure you know.
Other comments or questions from the board? Trustee Alvaro?
Just an invitation that if you would like to join us on the board, Ms. Love and I are on the board policy subcommittee, which is not as onerous as it has been in the past. It's more about now updating things that come in from council and that come in from CSBA statewide. And it's sort of like, okay, here's some new policies. Do they apply to us? How are we going to put them in there? And that's what we're doing right now. It's just kind of, we did the big heavy lift. We got everything up online and that's done. So if you'd like to join us with that, I mean, it's kind of a deep dive into policy, but it's what we do. So you're welcome to join us. And there's just two of us right now on that committee.
Thank you for the additional context. Trustee Love?
Yes, I would like to second that, and you haven't missed anything because we haven't held a meeting yet since we started, so.
Trustee McGee, is there anything you'd like to add before we move on?
No, I just think that would be a good learning opportunity for Trustee Arias, and we will be shaping a schedule for when that subcommittee meets and how often each year. I don't think we need to do as often as we had been doing, but it's still, when we meet, it's significant work. So I think that the group could use a third member.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the following updates to the membership? Oh, Trustee Direct, question?
So moved.
Oh, no, sorry. We had a question. Let me make the motion first. Is there a motion to approve the following updates to the membership of the ad hoc subcommittees and representatives, appointing Trustee Arias to the board policy subcommittee and to be the SMCSBA representative?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. There's a motion to approve the stated updates to the membership of the ad hoc subcommittees and representatives. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say no. The motion passes with a vote of 7-0, and the board has approved the stated updates to the membership of the ad hoc subcommittees and representatives. For item 10C, is there a motion to approve resolution number 25-39, implementing board policy 9250 to compensate Susan Alvaro for her absence from the May 7th, 2025 board meeting due to hardship? I note that board member Alvaro was unable to drive over Highway 92 the evening of the board meeting due to a road closure.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. There is a motion to approve resolution number 25-39 made by Trustee Gerard and a second by Trustee Bonini. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
And I
And-
will recuse myself.
Thank you. The motion passes with a vote of 6-0, and resolution number 25-39 has been approved. For item 10D, when an ad hoc subcommittee meets or a representative attends a meeting related to their given assignment, board members may choose to bring a report to the board at this time. Would any board members like to report out? Trustee Love?
Thank you. The Advocacy Subcommittee / Task Force on Adequate School Funding had a meeting this week, and it was the second in our series of meetings addressing inadequacies of funding for LCFF districts and those that flip. And we had several people there, and the purpose was really to look at how what the impact of these inadequacies are on the students and the schools and such. And so we collected a lot of data, and that was great. And we'll have another meeting in June. And thank you to Trustee McNeil and Board President Torres for being there, and for the staff. It was a productive meeting. Thanks.
Trustee O'Neill, would you like to add?
I just wanted to say thank you to all the districts that came. Is off the top of my head, I counted, I think there was about 7, 8 districts there, which I think is a pretty good turnout, and there were some that was flips, and we had a good mix of trustees, a couple superintendents, and the chief financial officers. And so we are having the next meeting in June, and then we start writing our report or whatever we want to call it at that point.
Yes, and then a huge shout out to the county office staff, for Leo for, I don't know where he's at, but thank you for going to set up the tech, and then to the team for providing food and just getting everything set up and helping to just lead and facilitate. Any questions for the subcommittee? Any other committees that'd like to report out? Trustee Bonini?
I would like to report out for the budget subcommittee. We did meet, I'll have the date right here in front of me. But we met to discuss, I think as a kind of an update after the board study session in anticipation of the budget coming forth. And so we heard more about some of the items that were presented. And I think what my takeaway from that meeting was to share is just that the committee, I think all the committee members requested that we have a little bit more information about some of the proposals, specifically around facilities. I will note that at the beginning of that meeting, I did make a comment that there were questions that came from other board members, like Trustee Levy, you had a number of questions, right, about at the budget subcommittee. And so I was sort of wondering like why it wasn't brought back to the whole board, but I understand that like the use of the subcommittee, right, sort of vet ideas. So I'm sure that if there are questions that remain, hopefully when we see the draft, then those questions can be, asked offline, or they can be addressed in the first hearing. So, from my perspective on some of the items, I think we asked for more information, which I think that's, probably coming. More transparency into like what other, there was a focus, right, on the sorry, I'm losing my words, the reserves and the use of some of the funds from Fund 40, I think, right, that need to be used for facilities if they're used at all, and then from Fund 17. And so I think there was a request for more information, like if there is additional like desire to spend some of the funds, are there other ideas around that, I guess is what we were asking. More things that are more other than, in addition to, or other than facilities, whether there were student-facing directly student, impacts that could be gained from using funds. So, sorry, that's late. But that was what came out of it, so.
Thank you for the information. Any questions or comments for the budget subcommittee? Or anyone would like to add on? Any other report outs? Are there any comments from the public?
No comments.
Thank you. There is no action to take on this item. For item 10E, the board will discuss topics for future board agendas. Would any board members like to discuss agenda ideas? Now's the time. Okay, there is no action to take on this item. Oh, sorry, Trustee Bonini. Sorry, your hand.
I did want to ask for two things. One is we already have the request on other topics about trying to put together a joint meeting with the community college district trustees. And I've bumped into a number of them over the last few weeks and, mentioned it. And so one thing that came out of my offline discussions was it would be great to try to organize an agenda around that. So my request for an agenda item is to either have one or two or three designated board members to have those initial discussions so that we can develop an agenda with some of the trustees from the Community College District Board. So that's my first thing. And my second is I would like to have the board consider, I've made this request in the past and it had an outcome, it's around the SELPA's CAC. And I would like to request that we have an agenda item that discusses how we might engage in recruitment of a community member or a family member who could be active in the CAC to represent our student community. In the role of this person, right, would be, well, as a CAC member, which I won't go into, but to also be a connection back to us so that we know what's going on at the CAC, and like a report out every now and then, or maybe just sending us some information. And not to say that we wouldn't maybe also keep the person, right, who's been appointed from internally, but that we could have other appointees. So I would like to have that discussion with the board, so that we're more aware perhaps from that report back about things that are going on, that the board might want to know about.
Yes, you triggered an idea. If potentially maybe we think about it first before we act, obviously, but maybe if we have a subcommittee for the community college board or a representative to act as like a liaison to get updates or communication. So that way if it's a subcommittee, it's addressed more collaboratively and that could be brought to the board, or if it's something that someone takes on individually, I think could be something that could be doable. Just a thought.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe it could be a subcommittee, but not necessarily like a fully, like maybe it could be 2 board members and it doesn't need to be 3, or it could be
Right.
3 if 3 people are available.
Depending on who's interested.
Yeah, that was, I think that's ideal.
Okay. Yeah, and that would allow for more frequent updates as opposed to just random.
Do you mean ongoing or for that meeting?
I think what ongoing would be helpful just to further establish that partnership and collaboration.
I like that idea.
Yeah, especially if, there's different leaders that change in and out. That way we know who like the point person would be. Any other topics to bring forth to the board? Okay, I didn't miss anybody. There is no action to take on this item. For item 10F, board members will comment. I will start off with Trustee Alvaro.
Thank you. I'll make it real brief because it's getting late. I will be attending Amy Wooliver, the superintendent of La Junta Pescadero Unified retirement next week, and I will present our resolution. I want to thank Ian Bain for putting that together for us, and Jennifer for scurrying around in the midst of everything else that was going on tonight. She went upstairs and got it framed so that I could take it with me because the event's in just a few days. So thank you for that. And then also I look forward to attending the Gateway graduation on June 4th. And that's it.
Thank you, Trustee Arias.
I also just want to make it brief, but I want to definitely say that I am very happy to have been able to be here for this volunteer celebration that you did today. That was amazing. And also that I'm excited to be able to attend some of the graduations.
Trustee Bonini.
Yes, let's see. I already sort of talked about SMCSBA, but I am, looking forward to engaging with our board more around that, right? And also the rest of the county. So that's upcoming. So I just wanted to express my appreciation, I guess, for our election of our new board, which will be exciting. I think I know all the members. That's Ligia Andrade Zuniga will be vice president. Greg Land will be secretary, and Terry Chavez is our new treasurer, which is great. I'm grateful for that because that's a big job. And then, of course, our entire representative and also Trustee Love, amazing that you're willing to jump into. So we'll all be there doing good work. So that's exciting. I wanted to, just on a personal note, just share that I celebrated my completion of my induction this week. I know that you were sharing yours from before. So yeah, I was really excited, being that it's like a 30-year goal of mine, coming back to that when I shared with some others that it was really it says a lot about the teaching profession and the Commission on Teacher Credentialing. I really feel like the process of, finalizing credentials and becoming a teacher, like for me, and doing my administrative credential at the same time, but the whole process, it was really more difficult than like passing the bar exam and doing all of that. Like it's a very hard process. So I just wanted to share that. It's very important, and so many people working, and we have so many teachers we need, but we make the process really hard. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. Also, I have two more things, sorry. One is that I was able to, since I took the day off today, I was able to go to the event this morning, which was amazing, celebrating all of our staff. So that was great. And then I was able to also attend the Behavioral Health Commission, which I used to serve on, their youth committee meeting. And it was just great to have as our speaker, Mary McGrath, sharing a lot of information about the reimbursement process and how that's proceeding and how we're kind of leading on that and working with Santa Clara County for reimbursements for mental health services for students in our county. So that was great. And then finally, there was delegate assembly last week. And so Beverly and I were there, and there was some good news, but I'm just going to leave that for Beverly to share as our county representative about the That's it.
Thank you. Youth Commission Liaison Zhao.
I'll try to keep this short as well. So first things first, I had a meeting for the Commission on the Status of Women and Girls today. I am a part of the Youth Advisory Council, and today I virtually attended the State Commission's meetings to update them on the Youth Advisory Council's work. So far, we've decided our 3 primary issue areas. They're firstly, education and workforce development. Second one is safety and prevention. And the third is health and access. And with these 3 issue areas, we'll just be developing policy proposals to present to the commission, which has state legislators and just members of the community really interested in advancing women's rights. And another thing was Allie's also a part of the Youth Advisory Council, Allie Chan, so that was really cool seeing her there. And tomorrow is the Youth Commission Showcase. I'd love to see you all there. And finally, I just have a question. I was wondering if it's okay if I continue this role throughout the summer?
Superintendent McGee, I think that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we probably should bring that back on June 11th, Bethany, as an action item.
Action item, yeah.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. And that's all for me.
I think you're in good hands. I think we all like you, so you'll be good.
Happy to hear that.
Thank you. Trustee Love?
Thank you. I also attended the staff event. Highlight for that were the presentations by the principals and Dr. Jimenez about the school programs. I hadn't really seen that before. I really thought that was a really nice touch. And then this event tonight, having Marcus here and honored just was the highlight for me. I mean, I love the room being full, but that was great. And his little brother coming up, having one of our students was just, again, fabulous. I also want to thank Executive Assistant Jennifer Perna for all the work that she has done on this. I know from being near her when she's been doing it, it's a lot. She puts a lot of heart into it. And so thank you for that, Executive Assistant Perna. And just finally, Amy Wolliver is a great superintendent. It was a pleasure to work with her. And she just always put her community and kids first. And so I hope she enjoys her next act. Thanks.
Thank you. Trustee O'Neill?
Not too much to say. I did the budget subcommittee. I did the task force subcommittee. I went to the event this morning and had another meeting at the Historical Society before that. So that was pretty much my day. So
Thank you. Vice President Gerard?
Thank you. I'll try and be really short too. It's very late. But I just wanted to say congratulations to everyone that was honored this evening. It is so well deserved, and it seems like with all the work they do, just a little certificate isn't really enough. But I just want to really give my heartfelt thanks to everyone that participated, whether they're a volunteer or children that were doing art and submitting it, whatever it is. It's just amazing. I will be attending all of the graduations, and I do want to add my name to the Oxford Day Academy graduation. And I'll also be attending the September 5th through 7th conference. And I was at Delegate Assembly this weekend with an amazing Region 5 group of people from San Mateo County. They're all just outstanding people and do so much for kids and for education. However, as far as county boards go, there's a lot to be desired. It's very clear that county boards are not a priority with CSBA. And Chelsea and I attended the Region 14 caucus meeting on Saturday morning. And it was very discouraging, to say the least. It just, several of the county board members there were very disappointed in the training that CSBA has given this year. In 2 instances, and all of us were there for the CSBA breakfast, where we paid a lot of money to go to a breakfast that was just for county boards, and the speaker was just for district boards. So it's just, and evidently the conference in May was the same thing. So anyway, people were very outspoken, and I hope we're heard. That's really what I have to say. Chelsea, do you have?
I mentioned the fees.
Pardon me?
Do you want to mention the fees?
What'd she
The
say?
good
The
news
fees?
about the fees.
Something about the fees.
Oh, and one piece of really good news is that CSBA will no longer be charging county offices that second piece of their fee. So it'll, yeah.
The one we didn't pay?
We didn't pay.
Yeah, okay.
Well, there were a lot of people throughout the state that did not pay it.
Delayed. it.
Well, yes.
Or delayed.
We delayed it.
Yes.
And there were evidently a lot of other county offices that delayed it as well. So anyway, that's the good news. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I will not be the one keeping everyone from their bedtime, but I just wanted to say, Superintendent McGee, you already know, but you have an amazing team and staff just from the events that I've been able to attend this week and to our meetings till today. Just so thankful to everyone. Thank you. So that's it. I'll keep it short. Item 11 is the adjournment. The next regular meeting will take place on Wednesday, June 11, 2025 at 7 p.m. And this meeting is now adjourned.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.